Welcome, one and all, to the Roach Warren podcast. I'm your host, RDG. You can call me RDG, you can call me Relentless Doppelganger, you can call me Susan if it makes you happy. The date is the 4th of November, 2023. It is really, really nice to have you all here. Strap yourselves in. This is going to be a good one. So, as you can tell, I'm not here by myself. I've got a very special guest for you guys today. I've got none other than the vocalist from one of my favourite up-and-coming Scottish symphonic deathcore bands, the head of the Traitor, introducing not just a very talented vocalist, but also a good buddy of mine, Darren. Darren, welcome to the Roach Warren. There he is. What's up? Welcome to the Roach Warren, man. How you doing?
I'm good, mate. Thanks for the kind words.
Yeah, well, no, thank you for all the sick music. So let me take you guys on a little, just in case people aren't familiar with the head of the Traitor. Let me just take you down memory lane a little bit. The date I'm going to take you back to is 2021. The 23rd of January 2021. Yours truly stumbles across an absolute banger of a track on Slam Worldwide called "Forest of the Impaled" by none other than the head of the Traitor. I'm fairly sure that was the first time I heard you guys. I think that was, I think I heard you guys, and then we started talking after that. Yeah, started talking after that, and then I ended up doing a reaction video for the beginning. And then the rest is history. I've actually, it's, I tell you, man, it's so nice to actually have some bands that are from the same country as me, because you'll probably find this yourself. A lot of the bands that you like are from, like, you know, elsewhere, like, not like, even going all the way down south is a bit of a pain in the arse, you know, like if your favourite band only plays in Brighton, actually having to travel all the way down there would be a pain in the arse. But just having you guys in Scotland has been really, really good. How many times have I been to see you guys play live now? I want to say like 4 times.
I would say run about that mark.
Yeah,
quite a lot of them.
Yeah,
It's so much so when I do a show, I almost expect you to be there that much.
Yeah,
like I'm expecting to see your face, man.
Yeah, I'm part of the. Yeah, I think I'm slightly part of the furniture at this point. I think. Yeah, well, I wouldn't miss a show, man. So let's start from the beginning. How did you become the vocalist for Head of the Traitor? Talk me through it, man.
Probably sitting dwelling about how I should have bit this bullet a long time ago. Like anybody, one of my closest pals would tell you that it's something I've always wanted to do and never actually properly done it, you know?
Okay.
I mean, I've been involved with stuff in the past, but that was just an excuse to get fucked up in the studio, and that was it. There was no intention to like play or anything like that, which was kind of shit, because eventually me and one of the other members was quite happy to, you know, we could do something here, but nah, it just So let's that's the past. We don't want to talk about that.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I'm on night shift biting the bullet, and I replied to a post on Join My Band, and it was Tony that posted it.
Mm-hmm.
But the post was like a year old. No, sorry. I replied to that post, and
Right.
Tony didn't reply to me until like a year later.
Oh, what a fucker! That's shocking.
I think that was it, or the post was a year old, and he replied to it. I don't know, something like that.
Right. Okay.
And like you say, the rest was history for there, man. That just happened. I went to a jam, and everything just seemed to go well.
That's awesome, man. So, when did you start doing vocals? Because I imagine like regular singing is something you could potentially learn on the job, but all the crazy shit that deathcore vocalists do, that takes years and years to master. How long before you joined the band were you actually doing vocals for?
Surprisingly, you should say that in work. And you know, I was like any teenager, like screaming Slipknot and, you know, Machine Head and that in their bedroom when they're getting ready to go to the cat house, and
of course,
cat house unders. So
yeah,
you know, naturally, I think you develop a bad way of developing somewhat of a feel for it.
Right.
And then when I started to get into the heavier stuff, I was like, you know, that's cool. I want to do that.
Yeah.
I actually started with Inhale like when I was like maybe I want to say 16.
Right. Okay.
And they projects I talked about before, they were all Inhale, and it wasn't until I want to say like in my 20s when I decided, no, you know what, that's when I actually want to, get into a band, get off my arse and do something about it. That's when I decided to do Exhale.
Right.
So it's, but I feel like I picked up a general knowledge with just messing about in the past to then know what I'm going into and know how like my body should feel and stuff like that, and that definitely helped. And working night shift definitely helped as well.
Yeah. Inhales are they've got a bit of a bad reputation in the scene. It's kind of like a taboo thing that you're not really supposed to do. Like people say it fucks your vocal cords up and stuff like that. I don't know if that's
Yeah.
actually I don't know if that's actually true. But do you notice that as well? That like whenever someone says, "Yeah, I do inhales," everyone kind of is like, "Ooh, man, inhales!" Like you may as well just be singing opera or something. Have you noticed that, or is that just me noticing
Yeah,
the stigma?
no, you're right, man. That's exactly it. And I don't know. Does it bother? I mean, I don't do them now, but no, out of that, like that is the like my motive for no doing them.
Yeah, yeah.
My motive was like trying to like get the sound and the voices that I wanted personally. But even before that, I mean, I was doing it for a long time. All right, I didn't have the knowledge back then, but I didn't personally have any throat issues or anything like that when I was doing it. And we were practicing like religiously once or twice a week, right?
Right. Okay.
So I personally never experienced it. I don't know anybody close enough to me that have went through a bad inhale experience. I don't know, but
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is kind of. It is weird because I don't have any actual stories either. I've got a kind of like people. It's kind of just like a general thing in the scene where it's like, oh yeah, you don't want to do that. I hear it so many times from loads of different bands. Oh, you don't want to do
yeah,
inhales, but little evidence to back it up. I think people just don't like how it sounds. But you get a like inhales seem to be okay when you're doing like pig squeals. That seems
yeah,
to be the pass. Like if you can do a really good pig squeal and that's an inhale, that's fine. And I think like Gutalax style vocals, those kind of like chirpy cricket ones, people
yeah.
say that that's an exhale. I don't understand how you make that noise without inhaling. I mean, you would know more about that than me, but it always sounds like an inhale to me. Can you do those style? I'm not asking for a physical demonstration right now, but can you do those crickety style vocals? Because there's nothing else like them on planet Earth. I swear to God.
I literally only just discovered them like 2 days ago.
Mm.
Um, like just the first band that I've seen that are doing them. But me personally, I don't think I could do it. Maybe if I sat with it for long enough, maybe. But it's not my vibe, and that's what I
Yeah.
was going to say about the whole inhale thing. Like me personally, as long as the vibe is there, if I'm vibing to the music, I don't care how it's done. You
Hmm.
can fucking stick a trumpet up your ass and
Yeah.
blow it. And
Yeah.
if I like the sound it, I don't care how you're getting that sound.
Yeah, that's my opinion as well. Like the ends justify the means in this situation. Like
Yeah, I'm
yeah,
never gonna say like, oh, that's cheating, or
yeah,
oh, you're gonna hurt yourself. Like, oh man, no,
yeah,
I like your music. that's
yeah.
that's all it is.
Exactly. I was speaking with the two guys that do vocalists in Penny Coffin, and
Yeah,
they the guy that does the majority of the vocals with them, he said that he actually used a guitar effects pedal at first because he didn't know how to do the harsh vocals, so he just put some kind of like a distortion pedal on his vocals. I'd never heard of anyone doing that before, but I was like, right, okay, that's cool. Because the
that
first
makes
time
sense.
it does, because the first time I heard Penny Coffin, like I sometimes when I'm checking out a band live, I find it a wee bit hard to be present and just like vibing off the music. I'm always looking at the drums and going, all right, that's good technique. The guitar player there, yeah, the vocalist. Like I'm always kind of over-analysing it. I wish I could just go to a gig and actually just get drunk and just kind of like, thrash about like a fanny. I know, but that analytical side of my brain always goes on. But when I heard him doing those vocals, I was like, how the fuck is he doing that? Like, there must be something else going on there. But yeah, it turned out he was, actually using an effects pedal, which, again, I'm not hating. The Penny Coffin are fucking great.
No, I love them, man. I really like them, but I was thinking exactly what you were thinking. I wasn't sure what was going on with the vocals, and then that makes sense. That time I did see them, but that night was my first time seeing them. And I don't know about you, but I love going to a show and finding a band that you've not listened to before, but you've deliberately not listened to them because you know you're going to see them soon, to give yourself that first face value impression. And I got that for Penny Coffin. Like I started to hear about them and I was like deliberately staying away from it because I knew I was seeing them. And I was well happy with it, man. I do that with like say like big bands that I'm going to go and see, like Future Islands is one of my favourite bands. I'll deliberately no listen to their new music if I know they're coming soon, so I can hear the new songs live.
That's cool.
First, I love doing that, man. It get, like, you know how that butterfly, that tingle feeling you get with music sometimes. Like, see that when I do that, oh my god, it's like, oh.
Live,
let's not go there, but
feeling a tingle anywhere when music scratches that itch is the right way to put it. There's nothing else like live music at all. That was something that I didn't realize how much I missed during COVID. It's a situation of just I didn't realize. It's a cliche, but you don't appreciate something until it's actually gone. But those first couple of gigs back after COVID were like magical, like really, really magical. Because there's a dare I say spiritual component to music. There's a part of it where it I don't know. I don't quite know how to put it. It just scratches an itch that can't quite be reduced to just like neurons firing in the brain. Basically, it's an uplifting, almost transcendent experience. I had the same experience at the last gig you guys played, where it was Necroted and Osaya. Yeah. I'd never heard Necroted before, and I thought, I'm gonna do what you were just talking about. Like, let me just want to hear them, fresh for the first time.
I done that as well. I done that with them as well.
Holy fucking shit, they were good. Like,
yeah, whoa. I know, man. I don't know what it is, man. I only recently started doing that. I think. Oh, when was it? The last time I went to see Future Islands, whenever that was. My mate Sean, he done that with our new music, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to take a wee leaf at your book and try it, and I've done it ever since. It's
a good.
You get it. It's good, man. I love it. But
I like it as well. But oh man, Necroted though, some of the slams and the grooves those guys were doing were just it. Every single person in that room done the exact same stank face when some of those slams hit. I was like, holy shit! Like, I was just looking around the room and just everyone was just screwing up their faces. They were so good. And also another thing as well, I've never, like, because obviously getting to know you guys has led me to be in some really interesting situations. Like, I got to meet like Vulvodynia, because you guys were at one of those gigs, so I got to like hang out with those guys and ask them some questions and shit. So cheers, basically. It's a great honor. But one thing that I've noticed is that out of all the bands that I've spoken to, all the bands I've seen live on this scene, not one of them has been an arsehole. Not a single member of any of them. Everybody fundamentally in this scene is really, really sound. Yeah. And
I've not met an arsehole yet.
It's quite incredible because there's a lot of arseholes out there, but not in this scene. For whatever reason, I don't quite have an explanation for that, because my little brother Aaron, who you met actually, he came to one of your my little brother who's about 6'6" or something.
Yeah, that big guy.
That big guy's fucking massive. He he noticed the same thing, that like the more extreme the metal, the more heavier, the more like outwardly scary it is, the more chilled and cool and down to earth the people in the band are gonna be. And it is weird because he talked about his experience with going to the Download Festival, and he said it was reasonably chilled. There wasn't too many fights, all that type of stuff. But then he went to Reading Festival, or maybe Leeds. I can't remember which one it was. And he said it was absolutely fucking terrifying. Like, really, really scary. Like, you would just, like, wake up in the morning and there'd just be a big, massive brawl going on. Bottles of piss getting chucked. People getting robbed and shit. It's weird. Like, I don't know why, if you go to like a rap gig or you go to like an indie gig or something, you're gonna run into some really unsavory characters. But if you go to like a gore grind show, everyone's an absolute sweetheart. It's really weird. It's really, really weird.
I think it's to do with the. Oh, how do I word that? Like I could. When you're saying that stuff, I can see it in my head and what I wanted to say, but I think it's that group of people, and that's just the way that from my experience anyway, of growing up like in Glasgow, like people I felt like we all got to a certain point, and it was like, right, everybody went off in their own direction, like the people I grew up with, and some people like to stay in that wee schemy environment, and I think just because the music is popular, right? So they sort of people are going to go, they're going to get affiliate, and they're not getting affiliate I say nice, safe drugs, right? But they're getting affiliate of some questionable drugs that some guys fucking pulled out their bum for them, and
cocaine,
get them into,
basically.
Yeah, coke. Nah, that I know what you mean. I don't know I don't even know if there is like a root cause to it, but there is a clear indication that our people are chiller.
Yeah, they just seem to be as well. I also noticed there's a lot less metal elitism within the deathcore community as well. Broadly speaking, the deathcore community. There's a lot less of that. The metal elitism that exists in the black metal community is so bad. It's so crazy. And for music that really sounds quite laughable a lot of the time. Like, I know a lot of black metal people are going to come after me for saying that. I do like some black metal, but some of it is just so hard to take seriously. The stupid music videos are all running about in corpse paint in the forest and dancing and stuff, like. And then, but to contrast that, they take themselves so fucking seriously, and they never listen to any other type of metal or any other type of music at all. Actually, it's just they've picked their black metal, and that's it. I
couldn't do that.
Same. I can do that. So when it comes to your taste, like, do you listen to a wide variety of metal, or is there also a lot of other stuff that you listen to as well? Like, how diverse are your tastes?
Literally everything. Like, honestly, that's everything, man. I tend to go through phases. I like listen to something specific for a while, and that will change up naturally. But there is a couple of things that I always do on a day-to-day basis, like Aphex Twin is a big...
Oh, Aphex Twin, very nice.
Very big part of my life, man. My day-to-day music life, like there's something about ambience that the ambience he does, and the guy's just a legend. He's the only artist that I could really listen to from start to finish without ever skipping a song.
That's high praise.
I know. I date on a regular basis, man.
Yeah.
But I chop and change. I even dabbled in black metal a little bit. Ricky for Moshville Times kind of opened my Anton, sorry, for a guy I talked to for Total Deathcore. They two kind of educated me a bit more in the whole black metal thing, and I enjoy it.
I enjoy it as well. What black metal bands did you get recommended? Like, is there any names that jump out at you?
No, you're putting me on the spot.
See, that's kind of what I'm like as well, because I listen to quite a bit of black metal on on YouTube. I think it's Black Metal Worldwide or something like that. They're much bigger than Slam Worldwide. They've got like way more subscribers, and all their videos get like tens of thousands of views every time. I listen to a lot of black metal, but not in terms. I don't really have too many actual favorite black metal bands, but I do like. What the fuck is that band called? I've put myself on the spot now. Nah, it'll come back to me later on. But I wanted to, because I'm a really big fan of black and deathcore, and then I thought, what the fuck is black and deathcore? Like, do you just put a couple of synthesizer keys in there? Do you just do a couple of? Is it more about the ambience? Like, do you put some violins in? Like, I was like, okay, what exactly is going on here? So I went back and I think most of the black metal I like comes from like the second wave of black metal, because really early black metal sounds a lot more like punk, in my opinion. It's got more punk vibes to it. It's not like ambient and sprawling and shit like that. But yeah, the history of black metal's like slightly fucked up, with all the church burnings and all the fucking stabbing each other and shit like that. It's fucking.
See, I didn't even get that far into it. Like, but I've certainly not seen that with deathcore. I have heard some things like I don't like people in deathcore like gravitate to like one side, either the death side or the core side, if you know what I mean. Like bands that are mere core, bands that are mere death.
Yeah.
And see, be honest, if I was gonna pick a side, man, I think I would naturally fade to the death side. What about you?
I think that's a really good question. I think I probably would, but the first time the first deathcore band I actually heard was Bring Me the Horizon, when they were deathcore. Basically, Count Your Blessings, all that.
Yeah.
You know, pray for plagues. That was, but I didn't really know the word deathcore at that point, so I wasn't like really aware of it. The first deathcore band I actually heard was Suicide Silence. Way back when, like, Mitch was still with us. I think it was Bludgeon to Death was the first track I heard by them, and that's definitely a lot more on the core side. It was the breakdowns, basically. I'd just never heard a thudding breakdown like that before, so I think, yeah, maybe I want to think that I would go with the more death metal side, but I think maybe I'm kind of like maybe I'm just a crusty old OG deathcore fan. I'm just fucking. I dig those. I dig the chunkiness. It's just there's a lot of gaps in my musical like history. I need to a lot. There's a lot of like the kind of like standard deathcore bands that everyone's heard that I haven't like really checked out. Like I was speaking to G, just for anyone that doesn't know, that's the drummer from Head of the Traitor. He was the first ever guest on in the Roach Warren, and he looked shocked when I said I hadn't never heard any tracks by Aversion Crown. He was like, "You've never heard Aversion Crown before?" And I was like, "No." I was like, I've heard the name, but never actually heard them. Yeah. And then I think I said to Tony that I'd never heard Cattle Decapitation before, and they were like, and that's. For a guy that does reaction videos, you would think that I would have listened to that, but I find it hard to go back and listen to older stuff and try and stay reasonably current with everything that's going on. Just because there's so much fucking music being released, it's impossible to keep up with.
Like, I don't think I tend to stay too current, to be honest. In the grand scheme of things, I used to be very active and, you know, listening to every new song that comes out, but I don't know. I just kind of, I think it's just my phases, innit? With the different styles of music that I'm listening to, because right now I'm not actually listening to a lot of like anything metal wise. Still love it naturally.
Yeah. What are you listening to at the moment then? That's interesting. What's your jam at the moment?
Listening to a lot of like kind of ambient electronic music now.
Oh, cool.
So like Aphex Twin and, you know, Boards of Canada. I've always like them as well. Like I grew up listening to them before I got into metal, right?
Right.
And I just go through phases. I chop them in between like certain genres, and like I went to see this dude called John Moods with my mate.
Okay.
we didn't go to see him specifically. He was supporting. We went to see the headliner, and he just like it was like one of the moments, right? He just never heard of him. Let's see what he's all about, and he just stopped. Like literally, he'll say the same, man. He took our hearts that night, man. He
Right.
was just this.
Yeah.
He was just this. I think he's from Belgium, and he was just on the stage himself with a guitar. He's got this wee cut. He's wearing a poncho,
Right.
and he just stole our hearts, man. It was unbelievable, and that instantly got us hooked. And I couldn't even tell you what genre he is. I would say, if anything, he's like kind of soft, hippie, with a wee bit of old school, single guitarist vibe about him.
Right. Okay.
10 out of 10. But I will eventually get back into the listening to metal regularly, and then again, it's like phases in it. I do it all the time.
Yeah, I feel that I'm kind of obligated to stay reasonably up to date with all the major releases and all the kind of like not so major releases. Just because my main side hustle is the whole
Yeah.
RDG thing. Like if anyone should be listening to the newer releases, it should probably be me. Saying that, I still haven't checked out the new Job for a Cowboy yet. Have you heard it?
No, same.
No, I haven't heard it yet. I wanna go back and listen to everything that they've done so I can do like a proper reaction to it, basically. Because it's Job for a Cowboy coming back is like they're one of the OG deathcore guys, really. Like, which is weird because they were only deathcore really for one EP. They switched their style. Their second album after the first one, which the name's escaping me.
They switched it fast.
Really fast. That's actually what led to their drop in mainstream appeal, because that first EP actually broke into like the official charts in America. It was an actual hit. When I think the only other deathcore band to do that, I think, is Whitechapel. Like way back in the day, they had a couple of hits that like actually broke through, but then. Yeah, they switched from deathcore to a more death metal sound, and I think all the scene kids, all the MySpace kids just went, nah, fuck that, there's no breakdowns in it, and they went from there, and that was, just very, very, very fickle fans, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So, going back to vocals, how, like, I know you wanted to start making different sounds, so you switched from doing inhales and you went to the exhales and stuff.
Oh, I forgot we were talking about that.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, no, there's gonna. I'm the host, so I'll try and remember shit basically. But I'm probably gonna say we'll come back to that, and then a couple hours later, I'll almost certainly never come back to it. But did you just completely figure it out yourself? Did you know some other guys that were doing vocals that give you pointers? Was it YouTube videos? Like, what was the journey to actually getting your vocals to where they are now?
I think it was initially myself, right? Because when I first started, trying to make these sounds a way back when I was growing up.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what was YouTube? I'm a dinosaur, right?
True, very true. Yeah.
So I think when I went back into it, when I was in work at night shift, when I wanted to actually progress, and this is what I wanted to do, I think when I went back into it, I've just repeated myself twice.
Right.
I'm just trying to think of the right words to say, like what I was thinking at that time.
Take your time, man. If you need to take 2 seconds to think, don't think you need to fill the airtime or anything, man. It's cool. Just relax.
Right, cool. No worries. No, I'm trying to get in and like put out what I'm trying to say in my head. Sometimes I struggle with that.
Nah, me too, mate.
Say what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
But when I was sitting there in work, thinking this is what I want to do, I already had a general knowledge of what movement I was aiming for the movement I was getting back then, when I was growing up, right? When I was going to the Catty Unders, I had a rough feel with the movement and where the air should be gone and stuff like that, but I'm just putting it in the opposite direction.
Right.
And then I looked at that. I did look at some YouTube videos for like how certain things should feel and stuff like that, but again, when I was like trying, it was very vague.
Yeah.
But I feel like every time I do it, I learn something. But it was Mace. I would say just going for it in night shift was my biggest act of freedom. Like to actually have the time to learn it and do it.
Yeah, I heard. I've heard a lot of like vocalists say that they did a lot of their practice driving in their car
Yeah.
because it was the only place that they could not get the police called on them for a noise complaint, basically. Because it's just,
Yeah, that helps.
it really helps. Because if you overhear someone singing, it's like, okay, that's nice. But if you overhear some of the shit that you guys are doing, it's like, holy fuck! Like a seance has gone wrong in their living room or something. Like, what the fuck? What the fuck is going on now?
One of my neighbours, Jim, man, he's sound. He'll probably. I know for a fact he'll just fuck, and that's him at it again. We have a good relationship.
Yeah.
But my other neighbours, I'm not sure what they think. I don't know if I want to know what they think when they hear it.
Yeah, I imagine it must be. It's a difficult thing for people to wrap their head around, like like very very heavy deathcore vocals. When like sometimes the lyrics can be a wee bit hard to understand. Like there's, I find that people fall into two camps when it comes to deathcore vocals. That people that aren't into deathcore themselves, they go, "All right, that's impressive. I'm not really a big fan," or they go, "I can't hear what he's saying. What the fuck is this?" They don't actually know. They don't know what to do with it at all. I don't blame them, to be perfectly honest, because there really isn't anything else quite like it. Like it's not really singing. It's not like a variation of singing, because as far as I'm aware, you're not really. It's all just about distortion and air control and breath control, right? Like you're not actually hitting notes.
I can't tell you.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm one of the guys. I'm a bit like G. He'll say the same first when you start like talking about drum stuff. He's like, no, I just go like this. You know what I mean? That when it gets to like the proper technical stuff, and I just know how it feels with me, and I don't hurt myself, so I think I'm doing it right.
Yeah, if you're not hurting yourself, you're doing fine. I said this about you the first time I came out to see you guys play live. I said my initial thought from you is that you've got surprising vocals. You've got like, if someone just heard your vocals in isolation, you would think that it's like a big 6'5" fat guy. You know what I mean? Like you've got these low, rumbly, like ogre style vocals. Yeah. And then and then I'm not trying to be cheeky, by the way, calling you a pipsqueak or anything like that. Like I'm honestly not, but like.
I get it.
Like it's most of the time it's the bigger guys that can do, like, because you as far as I can tell, you seem to at least in Head of the Traitor, there's more of an emphasis on the lows, different lows, gutturals, whatever you want to call them. Like you can definitely do screams, but looking at you, you would think that you would sound a bit more. You would have more of like a Dickie Allen style voice. So it's always surprising. Whenever I'm watching you play live, I'm like, how the fuck is he making that noise? Where is it coming from? Like it's just it's very surprising.
I think I prefer lows, to be honest. I like lows where you can hear the words, you can hear the vowels and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Say like Ben Duer's lows.
Oh, holy moly!
Like that. Come on, game over, man.
I mean, he might have the best lows in the business. I think.
That's I don't disagree.
Yeah.
I really don't.
It's like you can actually hear what he's saying a lot of the time. Like I hear a lot of guys going properly low, but you can't really hear much of what's being said. But he like enunciates with these fucking lows. It's almost. Sorry, go on.
That's what I try, man, as well. Like, I think it's good to enunciate your words.
Yeah.
And I'm like any reasonable person. I love I can't make out what they're saying, but that sounds pure beef.
Yeah.
I'm all for that, but it has its moments, right?
Mm-hmm.
For me personally, like my style gone into it, like I'd like to enunciate as much as I can and keep certain bits for certain bits. If you know what I
Yeah,
mean.
yeah, I do. I do know what you mean. Yeah, yeah, definitely. Because
Because
yeah, go on. Sorry, go on. I keep interrupting you. Go on, man.
no. I'm doing the same. I'm just my brain's gone haywire when I'm saying this. I mean, because I love slam, right? And the majority of
Yeah,
slam is just it's proper like gut rolls and pig squeals.
yeah,
Like the whole songs at times are just that you clearly can't hear anything being
yeah.
enunciated. But I love it. I'm a big slam lover, man. I listen to slam
Same.
on a regular basis. You know. But I do like the enunciating for me personally. That's the kind of route I wanted to go down when I was doing it.
Yeah, the slammy vocals are one thing, but I've been getting into. I mean, I say loosely. I don't have any bands to. I don't have any band names to drop. But I've been getting I've been listening to a wee bit of porno grind and a wee bit of gore grind and like gore
Yeah.
noise, and some of those gore grind vocals. It sounds like someone recorded a liquid rather than an actual vocal cord. It's got
Oh,
like
it's
a.
mental, innit?
I I don't know how the fuck they're doing it. To be honest, like if I didn't know any better, I would say there's like some wizardry in the studio going on there or something. But it doesn't sound. I don't understand how a human being could make some of those noises. It's it's pretty mad. That's kind of my thing. That's kind of my thing with slam. That like I like some slam, but I do like a bit more variety in the vocals, basically. And sometimes with some slam bands, it's one noise. There's no
Yeah.
pitching. It's just literally one sound the entire time. And that's maybe good for a single, but like some of these slam guys, they'll write like a 50-minute album, and it'll be that
Yeah.
one sound in a different rhythm. And like I'm halfway through it and I'm like, oh, for fuck's sake, like I like it, but it's potentially getting a wee bit samey. But yeah,
I'm with you though. You're right with the variety. I prefer slam when there is a variety of vocals in it. You're right, but there's some like caveman shit out there. It's literally just the same thing from start to finish, and that's alright on occasion for me. But I gravitate towards the variety.
Yeah, I think one of the best slammy bands I heard recently is Analepsy or Analepsy.
Oh, they're good, man.
Holy fucking shit! I discovered them recently, and I can't remember what the album's called. I should start writing things down before I hit record. But I listened to one of their albums, and I was just like, holy fuck! That's probably the best slam I've ever heard in my life. Like that's.
Yeah, they're up there, man.
I think so. It's just the production on that album in particular is just, oh my god. It's like a fucking sledgehammer. Right. Let me think. What was the yeah, so getting off the subject of music slightly.
Nice.
When I was chatting to you, just doing a wee bit of pre-production, just going through the kind of like what I had in mind and stuff like that. I asked you again, putting you on, I put you on the spot, and I said, what are some things that you feel passionately about? Things that kind of just like off the dome type thing. And one of the things you said, if I remember correctly, was family. If that's correct. I guess my question is, why was that? Why is family so important to you? Why was that something that was just right there in your consciousness? And then, why was that one of your answers?
I guess. Oh God, now you put me in the spot again.
I know.
I didn't know it was getting this deep. I don't know. I guess it's your. I mean, something changed in me, right? When me and my partner Becca fell pregnant with Rory. I mean, when we were 18. We were still children ourselves, right?
Yeah.
And it maybe there was a few years of acceptance. I can't lie to fully sink in. But I mean, at the moment of birth, definitely something changed.
Yeah.
Like your priorities and your everything just completely changed direction.
Yeah.
Or It should anyway. Naturally, it should.
For
I
for
know.
some people it doesn't, unfortunately.
Yeah, yeah, I know, and that's sad, man. So I guess
So you were you were 18 when your son was born.
yes.
Yeah, 18. I was 19 when my
Oh, so,
oldest son was born. Yeah.
sorry, no, I was 19. My partner, she was 18.
Right. Yeah. That's pretty much the exact same situation that me and Emma were in. And you're still, I mean, still together after all these years.
Yeah, we got together when we were 16.
Wow. Holy shit. That's unusual. It's really rare to actually meet people that fell pregnant, to use your word. You know what I mean? Because I imagine it probably wasn't planned.
No, it wasn't
Yeah.
planned, man. It was
Yeah.
definitely a shock.
Yeah.
It was a shock.
Yeah. I shit myself twice when I found out Emma was pregnant, because she was 16 and I was like 17 and a half or something like that, you know, and we kind of plan, don't have a house, don't have a career, we're living separately, and it's like, holy shit, how the fuck are we going to tell our parents, type thing. How good, what was it actually like telling the family, like your family, her family? Were you supported? Was it a nightmare? Like, what was it like, man?
I think it was. I think everything was alright. To be honest, I think for my partner's side there was a wee bit of a shock, and then it's a case of right, it's done now. Let's get on with it, sort of thing. But I think, but I know the majority of her side and my side are dead like kind of old school.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, my mum had. I mean, there's 5 of us. I've got there's 5 of us, me, my brothers and sisters.
Whoa.
My mum had my oldest sister kind of run about the same age, I'm sure.
Right.
So it was a case of, right, it's done now. You need to get your fucking life sorted, wee man. Sort of thing. So, aye.
That's the advice you want to hear.
I think that's what happened on her side too. And we literally, my partner, she'd already had a house in Govan.
Right.
And we just moved in there, and it was literally, her and her pal were living there, but I mean, at one point when I was in, it was literally just a mattress and a flare.
Yeah.
With the baby stuff, the money was just getting spent on baby. It was coming.
Yeah.
And then I guess that's when I kind of got my life in order.
Yeah. I do think a lot, like, where I would be if I hadn't met Emma and had our 3 children, and we weren't sitting here, because me and Emma have been together for 17 years.
Yeah.
Coming up 18. I don't know if you had that. I don't know if you've ever had that thought, but I think that a lot. Like, what? Like, this gave my life. I didn't know what I wanted to do when Emma fell pregnant. Before that, I was just skateboarding and going to gigs. I had no fucking plan whatsoever. It's interesting. It's interesting to think, and I don't know. I don't know if it would have necessarily ended up very, very good for me. Just an angry young man, completely rudderless. Like.
No, you're right, man. We talk about that actually. She always says to me, "You'd just still be a loser," and I'm like, you know what? You're probably no wrong. And I think that's exactly what I needed, a good kick.
Yeah.
But it's been a kick I would never change and never go back and regret. I actually kind of enjoy who I am now. I would never. Sometimes you have the conversations and people are like, "Oh, I wish I could go back to this and that."
Mm-hmm.
Nah, man, I genuinely like and love where I am right now, and the person I've became and the people around me have became. So
yeah, I'm the same, man. I hear a lot of people are like, oh God, to be 20, to be back in high school, to be in university, to go back to those times. That sounds great. But I'm genuinely, when I hit 30, That was when my shit. I was a late bloomer, I guess. That was when shit really started to actually come together for me. I've enjoyed my 30s, enjoying my 30s way more than I enjoyed being a teenager.
Yeah.
Like way more. I think it was just the fact that I fucking hated school. I don't know how you got on in school, but I couldn't stand it.
I guess I didn't mind it. I only really hated RE in school because, you know, I have my own thoughts and that sort of thing. And I felt like just because I was I was sent there as a white boy, I was forced to learn that religion.
Right.
I hated
Right.
that. I just, I could get into that, but that's the only part of school I didn't actually like. I mean, did I do the best? No. Was
No.
it passable? Yes.
Yeah.
But would I go back? Fuck no. Like that mentality, like when I look back at old me, no man, I don't want to go back to that.
Nah,
I
mate.
like the new me.
Yeah. Yeah. For what it's worth, I like the new you as well. Yeah, my oldest son Josh. I think we were talking about this the last time the last time we met. He was wanting to leave school, and he has actually left school now. And he was just talking about the shit that he has to deal with in school. I kind of thought, like, no adult would deal with that amount of shit being thrown at you on a daily basis, like having to deal with bullies, getting into fights, because you do get into fights a lot a lot of guys get into fights in high school. You've got the teachers giving you no respect. If you put any of those stipulations onto an adult and said, yeah, just deal with it, this is what you do, no adult would deal with that at all. So when he was telling me all this, I was like, yeah, maybe you should leave, because you're not, by his own admission, he's not really like an academic guy. And I thought, it sounds shit, to be perfectly honest. Like, it just doesn't sound, it doesn't sound like a fun time at all in high school. There's just so much crap that you have to deal with. It's pretty brutal. So you didn't have any did you have any aspirations when you were in school? Did you think like, I could go and be a vet or a doctor or fucking like anything like that, or were you just kind of chilling like most other guys were?
No, not really, mate. I still couldn't tell you what I want to do.
Yeah.
I guess I just want to live the easiest life possible.
Yeah.
If I was to really, really think about it.
Yeah.
As long as, back to the family, as long as the people in the house are fine, healthy, and okay, then I am.
I've used that line so many times when people ask me how I'm doing. I'm like, happy and healthy kids. I get to kiss them, tell them I love them, and put them to bed in a safe part of the world. And like, you know what I mean? I've been with a woman that I love very much for 17 years. Blessed,
exactly.
Really, completely
exactly,
blessed.
Man.
It narrows your focus having kids. I really liked what you were saying before about it's just like it doesn't happen. There's a lot of people that I used to know from way back in the day that also had kids young, and they just completely dropped the ball when it came to being a parent. And I thought, I can't be friends with you people anymore. I can't actually do this. You know, like I can't be making sacrifices for my kids, and then you barely see yours, and they spend most of the time at their granny's place, type thing. You know, like, and not in a nice kind of like it's good for your kids to get to know their grandparents. More in a kind of like, I just can't be bored with my kids. I just thought, I can't. There's so many people that just they're just doing the same shit, you know. Because I'm now back in the town that I spent a lot of my formative years in, like between the age of like 14 and 16, like skateboarding and hanging out and stuff. And like I've now moved back here, like 20 years later, and I see some guys going around that I used to know back in the day, and they're doing the same shit, literally the exact same shit, and I don't want to sound too judgy, but there's got to be more than just hanging out in a wee border tune, getting high, and fucking about. Like, right? There's got to be something more, surely. There must be more to life than that, right? Like, there's got to be.
I think so. It's funny you should say that, because, like you says, like if I had any, if we didn't have Rory, right,
Mm-hmm.
I'd probably be in some similar situation,
Yeah.
maybe. But like going back to the school thing as well, like I never like there's people I knew were in school that are in cracking jobs and stuff like that. They knew, but like I remember them talking about it in school. Like they'll go into school like I want to be like an airplane mechanic, and that's exactly what they've became.
Yeah.
I never had that, and I still don't know if I do have that. Um, I know life isn't forever, right? Well,
Mm-hmm.
life isn't forever, but I don't believe that is the end. I think something's going to come.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is just temporary, and God, I've kind of rambled on a wee bit.
No, 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 no. No, rambling on is the name of the game here, man. Don't worry. Rambling on is good, mate.
So naturally, you do want to do good, right?
I think
And
so.
you want to provide as much as you can.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, my brain is also thinking, like I says, like life is temporary. I want to live in the moment. I want to see things. I want to see people growing up. I don't want to be constantly away working and
Yeah.
nah. I guess I've never had any sort of like inspiration for like a proper career or something like that. I don't know. I just take it as it is, and whatever comes, comes, man. I think I've always been that way.
That's that was exactly the same as me. Like I had interests growing up. Like I really enjoyed skateboarding, but no one makes it as a professional skateboarder unless your name's Tony Hawk. Like it's
Yeah.
just super rare. I was into I had interests. I know what I didn't like, but in terms of like an actual proper career, no, I never had that. And I also fucking hated school as well. Like I really just couldn't stand it. The
Yeah.
caveat being there that I was homeschooled by my mum and dad up until the age of 15, and then I went into high school. So doesn't give you the two worlds didn't exactly mesh. Basically, I think there was I think a lot of me hating high school was a lot to do with my really shitty attitude. Looking back on it,
Yeah.
like when you're 15, it's everyone else's fault. But you get a bit older and you look back and you go, I was a bit of a knob in high school. So
Yeah.
probably a lot of the shit that came back at me was it was probably the vibes I was putting out there.
Well, for anybody gone through that transition, man, that is hard. I mean, they literally write movies about that shit, right?
They,
I mean,
they do.
that's what Mean Girls is. The whole
Oh my
thing is about.
god! Why
She
did I
she
never
she
make that connection? That's fucking
she
genius. I love it.
she's getting fucking homeschooled in Africa and then straight into school, man. Like I know it's like a comedy and stuff like that, and maybe seen as a girls movie, right? But I'm just gonna say Mean Girls is great,
Mean Girls is
right?
the fucking tits, mate.
Yeah. So like when you think about that in a realistic standpoint, like that would be emotionally challenging for that lassie. So I get it, man. Like that's understandable. I mean,
Yeah.
school's shit enough. Never mind to go through that.
It was an adjustment period that I just wanted to, as soon as I got there, I just wanted to leave and go get a job and start making some money. That
Yeah,
was all
that's
I
it.
wanted to do. And then I went and yeah, went and started making some money. Yeah, because
That's what I did, man. I was working when I was about 15, maybe even no, sorry, younger. I was working when I was 14.
right,
At the weekends, got to. I was working in a garden centre. I had to. It was my dad's garden centre, and I was just like kind of labouring in it
right.
Saturday, Sunday. And I was always told if anybody asks, you're 16. Well, all right. Nobody ever asked though, so that was always money in my pocket. And then
Yeah.
straight after that, I was working in a chippy, like just peeling potatoes.
Yep.
The
Yep.
good old days.
The good old days. I worked in a chippy for ages. I've done all the main fast food things, fucking chippy, and then working in McDonald's, and then also working in Burger King in a fucking holiday park. Actually, it was mental,
Yeah.
absolutely mental. Um, going back a little bit. when you said that the thing that you didn't like about school was the RE, the religious education side of that. What exactly was it about it? Because I'm not a big fan of organized religion myself.
Yeah,
It's not religious people. They come in many shapes and forms, just like everybody else does. There's plenty of people that are not religious that are total arseholes as well, you know.
yeah.
But I'm curious. Yeah, tell me if what exactly was it that you didn't like about religious education?
That nobody ever thought to ask my opinion.
Right.
How did I feel about it? Nobody. Well, I was just presumed to be. No, I was basically told it's mandatory. There's nothing I can do, and if I don't do it, I'll get in trouble.
Yeah.
And I says what I says earlier on because I believe now when I think back to it, it was just because I was just another wee white boy for Pollock.
Yeah.
He's got to learn this. He's gonna do this religion. I guess I don't know.
Yeah.
And the way that they took you to church and all that, I just felt like it was somewhat like an attempt at brainwashing and made
Indoctrination.
it.
Get them young.
Yeah, and I was in a Catholic primary school too, so and obviously I've came through there, so the secondary they just made it a lot worse. I did. I grew up with this boy, this Muslim boy, and I
Mm-hmm.
remember he came into my life. Still see him now and again, man.
Mm-hmm.
He came into my life in primary 7. He just moved to the area, and when we went into RE, the RE teacher would always make a point of saying, "Zishan, you don't need to participate. You do your own
Hmm.
thing." And Zishan would take the piss out of him and make all these funny noises and stuff like that as if he was praying, right? It was so funny, man. Um, and the RE teacher, I could tell he was getting pissed off, but he would never actually bite the bullet because it's a touchy subject.
It is a
But
touchy subject.
because who I am, what I look like, and where I'm from, it was mandatory for me to pray, and if I didn't pray, I was getting sent to the head teacher's office. Come on.
It's it's just bullshit. It
Oh,
it
I
it,
know.
it really
And
is.
I have such a like. See, people with faith to that caliber. Like, I have so much respect for you. Like, you have devoted your life to this. You're sticking to the rules, and all that stuff that comes with faith are all shapes and sizes.
Yeah.
I'm all for that. But what I don't like is the pushiness and the preaching of faith. It's no right. Like, if I want to learn, I'll come to you, right? Don't try and force it down anybody's throat. Not just my throat, anybody's throat.
Yeah.
It's no fair, and it's a very very caveman like attitude and thinking. I think.
I'm with you. I couldn't agree more. I mean, it's not even the actual. It's not even the actual contents of religion. There's a lot of things about religion, all the main ones that I don't like, but it's the fact that it's not voluntary.
Yeah,
That's the bit. I'm with you. Like I kind of think that if God wants me to believe in Him, if He wants me to believe, if He wants me to be a faithful person, He'll come to me
yeah,
rather than me having to be taken to, like a church and forced to pray. Forced prayer it really it misses the spirit of prayer.
yeah. I think the concept of religion has been lost through the ages, and it's been used as, I don't know, a weapon almost. It's like
Well,
it's an
yeah,
ecosystem, innit? It's sad, and even when you go back like thousands, hundreds of thousands of years, not hundreds of thousands, but hundreds to thousands of years, right?
hmm,
When you get like the European settlers settling in, South America and stuff like that, they would literally build their churches, the Christian church, on top of these like kind of temples that have been there for like 12,000 years to
yeah,
show a point, to show that you're ideology's changed and you're going to listen to what we tell you.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
Right, all right. That's that was back then. That was what they did back then, so to speak, the famous words. But even like what they were doing to me in the classroom in RE and in primary school, I just felt like it was a bit forced. I don't think it's as bad now. My son, he went to Catholic school, primary school, and now he's in the same secondary as I was in.
Right.
Um, and obviously I'm cautious, right? Because that was my only gripes with school. So naturally, I'm asking him, and he's had some homework for RE, and he's no. I think it's changed now. I don't think it's as bad. I think that might have been like an old way of thinking when it comes to schools. I think the schools have changed a lot and opened up a bit more into people's views and uh, how they see the world and you know their faith. Like they're open to questions, right? I
Yeah.
felt like when I was growing up, not just the RE teacher, but a lot of the teachers, it was like, no, what I say is right and what the child says is wrong, when that's
Mm-hmm.
not always the case.
No, no, is it? No, you're right. You're right. It's not always the case. Yeah, I just, yeah,
Me and you're lucky. Sorry for butting in. Me and
no, it's
you're
okay.
lucky, man. We didn't get the. I mean, look at our mums and dads. They would have got the belt, right?
Oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah, but battered by nuns on a daily basis. Yeah.
It's absolute bonkers. Like the way I know the educational system's changed a lot since then in the right direction, in that terms of teacher-student abuse.
Yeah.
But um, yeah, that's mental to think about. Like the amount of times I would have been hit by a strange man or a strange woman. That's so strange. Imagine you sent your kid to school, and they're coming back with that in their arm, man. I'd lose my shit. I'd go to jail.
I know. I know. I would try and meditate and remain as peaceful as possible. But yeah, anyone laying hands on your kids is, yeah, it's mad. But I mean, I speak to my dad all the time about what the education system is like. I think he's 63, 64 years old. So he's like, he's not ancient, but he's, getting on a wee bit. And the belt was just, it was a learning tool, basically. Like just
Yeah.
back when he was in school. And it's just wild to think, because that was like, so when he was in school, that would have been about 50 years ago. That's not a long time.
No.
Like, it's really not. And it's mad. Yeah, no, I think a lot of people have that. A lot of people have that problem with with religious education. I don't like the way that, like, some schools they do religious and moral education in the same class, because it seems
Right.
to imply that to be moral you have to get your morals from religion, basically. And I don't know. I don't think that's true. Like, I think you can be a good person or a bad person if you're faithful, and you can also be completely secular, which I am. And you can also still be a good person. I don't know if you agree with that. Maybe you think goodness actually does come from religion in some sense, but yeah.
No, because I'm no, I'm no religious myself, right? But I feel like call me what you want to call me after
Yeah.
just saying that. But I'm spiritual in a sense. I'm I feel like this is, like I says earlier on, it's temporary.
Hmm.
I feel like through the ages, without the influence of the internet and stuff like that, it's been scriptured, and for all different types of walks of life, through the years, that's a bit another argument that's gone into now about a lost civilization. But
Hmm.
anyway, they all talk about the same kind of experience after death, where the consciousness, the soul, travels a certain way up into the skies and travels through certain constellations. And it all matches all these stories for all over the world where supposedly these people shouldn't have had contact with each other. I don't know. I feel like there's something after this, but what that something is, I don't know, and I don't think it's. I, d- I fail to see that it's some singular entity, I
Hmm.
guess,
Yeah.
that controls and worships, demands worship and stuff like that. I mean, if that is the case, right, I'm going to go up there and be like, right, you can still see I'm not a bad person just because I didn't have any faith. I mean, in this world we're in, you need proof, right? I'm a big
Yeah.
skeptic. I mean, I want to believe in aliens, right? But just give me the proof. I want to believe in ghosts, but I need the proof. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and it's the exact same with that. Like, if you come down and you show me that you're real, then okay. Then I probably would change, to be honest, if I knew it myself and I had
Yeah.
that experience. But I mean, I'm the sort of person who actively, when I'm walking about, I try my best to not even step on an ant. I try my best not to step on a snail or a slug. Like, I hate the thought at other people. Well, me killing things and other people killing things, whether it's out of deliberateness or spite. No, deliberately, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Or accidental, because like I feel, I don't know about you, man. When I step on a slug, I feel shit. Like, see,
Yeah.
no, a snail. See, when you hear that crunch, I'm like, oh
I
no.
know.
It's
Yeah.
so sad. Like, who am I to? Even though I feel like this is only temporary, I feel like the journey after it is going to be something that nobody can explain. But um, who am I to send that thing or that person on their journey faster?
Yeah, I'm
I
with
don't
you.
know. I'm a good person, right? That's what I'm meaning. Like, I try my best not to hurt the smallest of things. So I doubt that if there was something and I didn't believe, I would go up there and I would be shunned. Like,
Yeah.
if we're going to go along with that kind of context, if it's going to be like a kind of, what is it? Is it Saint Peter at the gates and
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
he judges you before you get in, sort of thing. So I doubt I'm going to get condemned for the life that I lived just because I didn't believe. Like, obviously, if I'm standing in front of big gold gates and St. Peter's there, I'm going to be like, right, I believe. But I mean, if anything, it's your fault, Peter, because you didn't make it apparent to me while I was living. So
Well said, mate. Well said. I'm the same as you. I like the idea of a lot of things, but I just don't have the requisite evidence to believe it. So if God is actually going to be pissed off with me, or maybe it's an alien consciousness or something, like I've kind of
something, yeah,
like just something. It's like, well, you didn't make yourself readily apparent to me, and you're much smarter, so you know what my standard of evidence is. If you didn't give me the evidence, you can't now turn around and judge me for not
yeah. So
believing in it.
I have to believe what's been wrote on a tablet, like that got found God knows how many thousands of years ago. That's what your whole religion's based on. Some guy came with a tablet. Like, come on,
Mm.
let's be realistic here. Take a step back. You created the universe. How about you just give me a message? It doesn't take
Right.
long to send me a WhatsApp, bro.
I know exactly. We exactly. We look at what we're doing right now. You know what I mean? But it's like
Yeah,
you can't make yourself apparent to me. Yeah, I just the thing is as well is that if any of those ancient texts that got found had anything like truly remarkable in them, then I would go, all right, okay, right, cool. That's interesting. People 2,000 years ago couldn't have known about germ theory, for example. They couldn't have known wash thy hands being the fifth commandment or something. That would have saved how many billions of lives. But
yeah,
you go back and you read any of those texts, any of them at all, and it reads just like someone who lived at that time who wrote some stuff down. There's nothing. I've read all of them. I don't see anything particularly impressive in there at all. There's some good
yeah.
stuff, but
It's like a list of morals to control the masses, right?
pretty much, pretty
Yeah,
much.
that's it. Do we have toilet breaks?
You can take a toilet break if you want, man. Yeah,
Yes, I have been busting.
yeah. Go, cool. I'll hold down the fort, mate. No problem.
Cool. 2 minutes.
Yeah, no problem, dude. Hello to everybody that's still with us. I should probably edit this out, but I'm just a lazy fucker and I hate editing, so I'm not going to do that. What are we going to ask this guy next? What are we going to ask this dude next? I think I want to find out some more stuff about Head of the Traitor. So I think we'll ask him. We'll ask him some of those style questions if he comes back. Maybe he's just maybe he's dinghied me, but hopefully he hasn't. And fuck's sake, that's an hour done already. Holy shit, man. Holy shit. I'll maybe just put a timestamp in the description of the video. In fact, I will put a timestamp in the description of the video. So I'll just be able to skip all this. So everything that I'm saying now is actually a moot point. So I could basically say anything I want, but I'm not gonna.
Oh, sorry.
All good, man. Not a problem. Not a problem at all. If I wasn't so lazy, I would just learn how to edit, and then I could just cut that little bit out. But I hate editing. Really, really can't stand it. I just find it really, really laborious work. So let's talk Head of the Traitor. How's everything going in the Head of the Traitor camp right now? Any how's the vibes?
I think they're okay. We went through like a kind of wee patch there. Probably fault of our own, just being a bit lazy, kind of lie. But obviously there was stuff going on, but it's not my place to say, personal stuff going on.
Yeah, sure.
As well, which is fine, like we talk about, family is always first.
Always.
And then you work, then your passions or whatever, right? Family, even before work, man. Like, dude, you best believe if I get a phone call, I'm out. I'm out of this place. I'm coming.
Yeah,
anyway,
definitely.
So family's always first, and that's fine. That's never been an issue. So we have kind of hit the brakes there. There's a lot of material there that we can use. For a good bit of material, to be honest, that we could work on. And the summit is at a almost releasable stage. So
wow,
stuff has been like progressingly, slowly moving forward.
Yeah.
But I know we can, like, if we all put our heads in, and we're on the right headspace, there could be good potential there.
Yeah.
So that's where we're at now. We're just kind of grinding along slowly, taking it easy. But I think things are going to pick up, to be honest. I can see the light, and that's fine.
That's good, man. That's good. Sometimes grinding along slowly is better than just doing too much and then burning out.
Yeah, I think like for like reaching out to people and listeners and all that kind of thing, you need to keep that content coming, right? And that's what we've done. We've like kind of stepped back a wee bit because I think that's what we've just been kind of conditioned into being. Into what's the next new thing? Show me the next video. TikTok has a big play in that,
Oh god, it fucking does, yeah.
It sucks to say, but attention spans have been shrunk. They really have been, so you need to get that fast content out, and if you don't get it, you just kind of like fall silent. But I remember when we started, we were just, all it was just, let's go into the studio, see what we come up with, whatever happens, sort of thing.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying like 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 Unhollow Void came out the closet, right, and they've had it big time, right? I'm so happy for them, right?
So
But
happy for those boys.
when we released stuff, there was like a good influx of like people listening to us and like a wee bit of demand there as well. So it showed the potential, and that's something that we never went into it thinking. You know what I mean? We were just a couple wanted to hang out in the studio. If we could get a couple of shows under our belt, we were happy. But it seems to have changed into something different that can show decent potential. So I think that's where we're at the now.
That's good. So, so I know that, as far as I'm aware, correct me if I'm wrong, but Tony's like the main songwriter. Is that correct? Or do you have quite a large hand in the songwriting process as well, or is it a group effort, or like what's the deal?
Usually the case is Tony will put the song together, like a kind of demo version of the song,
Mm-hmm.
and he'll feed it into us. He gets feedback. Sometimes he doesn't. Sometimes he. I say sometimes. A lot of the time, man, he puts the songs in and everybody's just like yes, like straight away.
Yeah.
Um, but genuinely put the song in. He'll get feedback. It will change. Me personally, I just stick to vocals. I think there was only one song that I've no done, like wrote the vocals and lyrics to. Craig has done it, but that's one of the. It's unreleased.
Right.
Such a different vibe for the like. A couple of the songs that we have sitting there are like completely different vibes to what we are kind of edging in the direction of, and just different altogether. But they're good. They're good. So I don't know what's going to happen with them, but that tends to
That's
be the process. Tony does his thing. George likes to put his own touch to the drums naturally.
mhm.
If anybody's got any opinions, it obviously gets brought up and addressed or whatever. I'll do lyrics and vocals.
Mm.
But I don't think Tony's ever set it in, and I've been like, in fact, see, to be honest, see any sort of project I've been involved in, anytime like the person who's put the first demo track together sent in, I've never had any big objections to it. I've always
Right.
liked it right off the bat, and I don't know what that is, but I've certainly liked anything Tony's put in so far. Well, everything Tony's put in.
Tony is mad talented, dude. Like, I mean,
Yeah, I know.
I don't need to I don't need to tell you that, but like but
Love
the
you.
the other band that he's got, the Elden Ring one, what are they called?
Loathsome.
Loathsome. Thank you, Loathsome.
Yeah, there's
Um,
a hot man.
holy shit. They're really fucking good and quite different from Head of the Traitor as well. Like it's in the same ballpark, but there's a lot of variety within deathcore. I think it's probably one of the reasons that I like it so much. You can have a band that both call themselves deathcore and they sound so different. Like, but yeah, but anyway, I digress. Yeah, Tony's crazy. Like, it's the tremolo picking parts in a lot of the Head of the Traitor songs that I think elevate them. Like I like everything
Yeah.
about the Head of the Traitor, but the tremolo picking in the beginning and the chorus for Forest of the Impaled, there's a unique vibe there that I don't hear in other deathcore bands. I don't quite know how to describe it. Maybe it's a different tuning that he's using or something. But you guys have got a very, very interesting sound going on. Yeah, like it can definitely be called symphonic deathcore, but I'm imagining you hear it as well. Like you're not just like a cookie cutter deathcore band.
No, I know you. That was when the band was already. I don't know how long before. I can't even remember how long before I joined was formed. I think it was just like Tony and George
Right.
and the others. I think me and David went to the same practice like the first time
Mm.
joining the band together.
Right.
Um, but it was always that way inclined. Like, yeah, we like our breaks and our heaviness, but we wanted to make it a bit more flowy and make it symphonic.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
That was more like kind of Tony's side of things. Like, I I went into it just wanting to be a vocalist, right?
Mm-hmm.
Originally, I was looking for like a hardcore kind of beatdown sort of project because
Right.
that was the vibe I was kind of going for at the time.
Mm-hmm.
But I joined this band like because I was like so desperate to actually do it. I kind of fell in love with it, and it was probably this band that opened my eyes to like the more death metal. Apart from Ricky and Anton with the black metal, but it kind of led me in that direction of liking the deather side of things.
Right.
Being in this band, that's probably came for like the likes of Tony and George,
Mm.
because they're big death metal fans.
That's interesting because your vocals, to my ears anyway, I don't detect any type of hardcore beatdown influence in your vocals. Is that just like a whole other range of techniques that you've got that you never really use for Head of the Traitor because it wouldn't fit, or like are the vocals
I just adapted to like the band, right? What their sound was and what they wanted. But it is different.
It's
Well,
very
I say
different.
different. The foundations are basically the same. I mean, when you're doing it long enough, you don't think about like the 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 tension of your stomach, right? The part of your stomach, your diaphragm. You don't
Mm-hmm.
think about it. Just like comes naturally after you date so much. Your
Mm-hmm.
body's doing it. So you've got the foundations doing. It's just about like I think I might get ridiculed for this because I don't know, but how I feel when my voice is like changing the tone of my voice and
Mm-hmm.
changing the air pressure to maybe make that different sound.
Mm.
It's certainly a lot that like kind of hardcore. Well, maybe no beatdown, but hardcore side vocals are a lot more cleaner in
Mm-hmm.
terms of like there's less distortion. You can hear the voice a bit more. Well,
More,
that was the vibe I was portraying anyway.
more shouty style vocals in
Yeah,
hardcore
yeah,
than in deathcore. And then you've got Knocked Loose, and that guy's doing whatever the fuck he's doing. I like it, but it's pretty unique as far
yeah.
as I'm aware. Like, are you a fan of Knocked Loose? Like, is that the type of hardcore that you're into, or are you into more like OG stuff?
I love it all, man. I
Love it
really
all.
do. I do love it all. I do like Knock Loose. I tend to gravitate to the older stuff. I've not heard much of their newer stuff to be honest, but I know they're killing it. But I do like it.
I like Not Loose a lot, a lot as well. So what? So let's talk about like early influences. I remember, I know you mentioned Slipknot, but everyone that I've spoke to about their early influences, 9 times out of 10 they're going to say Slipknot basically.
Yeah.
But I guess my question is, what was the band? What was the first kind of like, or not the very first one, but like the first kind of like group of heavier bands that you started listening to, kind of like outside of what like your parents played for you? Because that's how people always start. You just listen to what the music your parents are playing in the house, if you're lucky enough to go up in a musical household. What was the band where you thought, ooh, that's different, that's heavier, I like that?
Oh, when I grew up, I got into the whole alternative side through my sisters. So one of my sisters has a pal, and she was alternative. My sister is certainly not. She's the opposite from that, right?
Right, okay.
So Karen was over, and she left a Linkin Park CD, and I think it was Papa wrote. No, Linkin Park and the Offspring. Sorry.
Oh, dude.
So
Fantastic.
naturally, I stole them, and that changed my life. I kind of went down that path from there. Like that was my entry, literally my entry into
Yeah.
it. And then I noticed I started to like the heavier songs. I got into Chimera big time. Like I
Oof.
started to. It went for like the kind of Offspring, Linkin Park, Slipknot, the usuals,
Mm-hmm.
and then into Chimera because Chimera's a bit heavier, right? And
Yeah,
they're really good, man. I miss them.
I miss them too.
I, I really do. George is a big fan of them too, man.
Yeah, Linkin Park was my first breakthrough band as well. It
Yeah,
was the very first one. Yeah, the next door neighbor that we had, I think I was about 14, 15 years old. He was into metal, and I thought he was the coolest guy on planet Earth. Turned out to be a bit of a knob, but that's a story for another day that will probably never come, to be honest. But he gave me Hybrid Theory by Linkin Park. Yes. And after Paper Cuts, that first track, I was like, yeah, this is going to be with me for life now, this style of music. I didn't know what to call it. I didn't know what it was, but I knew it wasn't the Rolling Stones, it wasn't the Beatles, it wasn't anything like that. You know, I love the Rolling Stones, really like the Beatles. Like I said, I listen to a lot of stuff, but that was the first one where I thought, yeah, that's something fucking different right there.
Yeah, that's for me.
Yeah, I can't quite explain what it was. Whenever I think of Chimera, I discovered a lot of bands back in the day by buying Metal Hammer magazine. And then they had DVDs that had music videos on them, which sounds like a different fucking universe talking about now. Because a DVD with music videos on it, like, forget about it. That doesn't happen anymore. But I discovered a lot of good bands there, and I heard Power Trip by Chimera, and I was like, holy shit. Holy fucking shit! Yeah, I heard Behemoth, or Behemoth, to say it in the American style. I heard one of their tracks on one of those Metal Hammer CDs, and that was my first taste of like very, very extreme, very anti-Christian, very very satanic, blackened death metal. It scared the shit out of me the first time I heard it. I was like, these guys are playing with severed goats' heads, and what the fuck is going on here? This is absolutely absolutely brutal.
But I actually got into it through the scene side of things, man. After like kind of Chimera, that's when I kind of started going to the Cat House Unders with my partner and like the friend group we were in. Mm-hmm. And my partner would always hang about upstairs, and upstairs was like where the scene kids would kind of go. So naturally, that's how I got into it, through the kind of. I know that there's two ways into it, right? You either come through the scene kid direction, or you come through the goth direction, the metalhead direction, and you meet in the middle at deathcore, right?
Absolutely, yeah. Well said, man. I like that. Yeah.
So I came for the scene side of things, where like All Shall Perish, man. See old school All Shall Perish.
Yeah.
Oh my god. As Blood Runs Black, another classic, man.
Two bands I've never heard. I know. There you go. I know.
Come on.
I know. It's shocking. It's shocking. People always have that response. They're like, oh, okay, right, you're a deathcore guy, but you've never heard those earlier albums. So they were massive influences then. That was kind of, was that like the death, that was your deathcore awakening, basically?
Yeah, I would say it was All Shall Perish, Wage Slaves. I would narrow it down to that song specifically, because that was like the song and at the time where the floor would erupt. Like all these wee scene kid boys would just come out of the creeks and crannies and just go for it. And you know what? At first, I mean, the bouncers were alright with it, but then they started to get more strict.
Ugh.
Right, it was the like crowd killing it, and it was just like your hardcore dancing like in the pit sort of thing. But they even came down on that. So
yeah, it can be like that. I tend to find that security does absolutely nothing or way too much at gigs. That's always been. I can't remember the last time I saw an even-handed bouncer. He's either standing at the front, not doing anything, when guys are actually beating the fuck out of each other, or they're chucking people out for just fucking moshing too hard or something. I after hearing Hybrid Theory by Linkin Park, I started to get started to make a group of friends, and then we actually just went to local gigs in the town. That just there was just this wee organization. They just put on gigs, and there was no big bands. It was just like bands, just really obscure bands doing tours, and they just hit that town and stuff. But that was very formative. Actually, just being in a room with like 100 other people, and you were all into the same niche bands. That was an amazing experience. It reminds me very much of the gigs that you guys play, to be honest. Like, quite small, quite intimate, and basically everybody, all like, you're all into the same bands, and you've all got like the same kind of like vibes going on and stuff like that. It's just, it's really nice. It's a really nice thing to be a part of.
The scenes, like you says, I think after COVID, I'd already took a step back for like the local scene for a long time, but I mean, I was bringing up the wee man, right? I was just literally work, and now that he's older and I've got a bit of time back, but certainly after COVID, like yourself, it prompted me more to come back.
Yeah.
And I absolutely love it. And I'm gutted I didn't support it as much back then, but you know, I'm dealing with my own thing first, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But again, like, I'll try my, like, if I'm off and it's not going to impact anything I'm doing, like, family wise, I'll certainly go to some of these local shows, man, and I'll try and support the bands. I'll reach out to them and say, like, whatever, send me the link it benefits you most. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think it's important, man, and I think it's a nice wee community that's slowly building here, and a lot of this talent coming out of Glasgow is amazing, and I would go to say some of it is no recognised enough.
I completely agree.
I like seeing all this stuff where all these bands that we've played with are getting all these shows everywhere, man. It makes me happy.
Yeah.
So that's I'd like to actually do that, to be honest.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. I mean, anytime I hear about like an up and coming band, I always think Unhallowed Void. Basically,
Yes.
like, it's just cause I had a really nice introduction to them because I didn't know who Unhallowed Void were, so I just heard their track on Rio. I just heard that, and I didn't realize that I actually I'd spoke to Liam before because he'd done some guest vocals for you guys. That's how I got to that's how I got to know him, basically.
Yeah.
You know. And then I done a wee bit digging, and I was like, "Oh shit! Right, okay. This guy's got his own band going on," and I'm still blown away by that track. Just it's just the vocals, the atmosphere, the heavy, the technical aspects of it. It's fucking wild. It's really crazy, and they're all so young. Like, crazy young. Like, really, yeah. Like, without trying to sound condescending, I was speaking to one of their newest members, Dave, and super nice guy. I was chatting away to him and stuff, and then I realized he's only 3 years older than my oldest kid. I was like,
Wow.
Wow, I know. Wow, that's what he said. He was like, "Whoa, seriously?" And I was like, "Yeah, my you're 19, and my boy just turned 16." It was fucking weird, man. Very strange. But I think if they continue on like they're going, just like always on social media, always plugging stuff, always playing gigs, with a little bit of luck, they might make it like significantly big. I think.
Yes. They're definitely on the right track, man.
Yeah.
I love them.
Yeah. I'm not a guitarist, so I can only spot like when someone's really good or when someone's moderate and when someone has no idea what they're doing. I don't know all the technical intricacies. But whenever I see Luke doing any of those solos live, to my ears flawlessly, I think, heck, he's only in his early 20s. And he's that good already. Like, seriously fucking good. It's like, oh shit. And it's not, the thing that I love most about his guitar playing is that it's not just technical for the sake of being technical. It's got soul to it. Like, there's emotion running through it. Like, a lot of the solos, it's hard to play really fast and make it memorable and soulful.
Dude, he's like a god, right?
Yeah.
I'm saying it here the new because he does it all. He does it all. He does drums. He does drums and he does vocals.
It's wild. It's crazy. It's really mad. I always forget that he's the drummer of Penny Coffin.
Yeah, I know. It's insane, isn't it? Absolute bonkers. When I seen Penny Coffin, he wasn't drumming. I don't think he was the drummer then. I think it was the other dude. But I'll need to go back. I'll need to go back to see them with Luke playing, man.
Yeah, I saw them. I saw them at a festival in Edinburgh. It was called the Sonic Dissonance Festival.
Yeah, see if that was in Edinburgh, man, I would have been there.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
cut for time that night, man. I really wanted to go.
Yeah, I stayed at my sister's place. I've got loads of. I grew up in Edinburgh. That was and then moved to the Scottish borders when I was about 10. So
Yeah.
I know Edinburgh really well. A lot of my family are there, so I've always got a place to stay in Edinburgh, basically, and also getting back from Glasgow if I'm not staying at my brother's place, just getting back to Edinburgh and then going to stay at my granny's place or something is really easy. So it's quite good. I've always I don't need to go for an Airbnb or something, but. That Sonic Dissonance Festival was fucking fantastic, and it was packed, like
Yeah.
properly packed. Like both of the days, it was just filled the whole time, and I was like, "This is good. The scene is alive." If it's packed, like there was a couple of times when like they literally couldn't fit any more people into the into Banshee at all. They just they yeah.
I've never been there.
It was the first time I'd been there.
Even as a punter, I've never been.
Really cool,
I'd like
but
to. I would.
sorry, go on.
I would really like to play outside the city, man. I like the thought of that, driving, sleeping in the van, just to say that I've done it, sort of thing.
Yeah,
I've got a
totally.
wee. I'd say I've got a wee drive for that. I can't lie.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things where like I imagine being in a band, you have those kind of like aspirations where it's like you'd be like like a touring band, you're going and you're seeing all the world and all that type of stuff, but like that's a sign of success within this in this game that everyone's playing. But good lord, they work you. Those record labels work you fucking hard.
Oh
like,
yeah.
like holy shit! Like whenever, like I just saw Signs of the Swarm are on tour right now because they're basically always on tour, and it's like a show every
Yeah.
fucking day. Like holy shit! Like that, I always find that must be especially hard on the vocalists.
I would say the
Rather,
vocalist.
y-
Vocalist and drummer.
I think so.
But then, the fingers can get quite tired.
I mean, the fingers can definitely the fingers can get tired, but like it's more just like because I imagine the drink and the drugs must just be just at every venue. If you're like a touring band, there's just tons of people
Yeah,
with
it's
tons
just
of stuff.
naturally. Yeah.
Like just always, and you can play. You can play drums on a bit of a hangover. If you've got a sore throat, you can still shred. But if you're a vocalist and you just pushed it a wee bit too hard at the after party, and then you've got like another like full week of gigs, it's like, yeah, I think the vocalists have got to show a lot more restraint to kind of resist the party lifestyle than the other guys do. That's my
Yeah.
view on it anyway.
I would agree. That's certainly the approach I would take. But again, I've never done it. Right? I'd
Yeah,
I'd be quite happy. Like if I got a chance to do like one UK run and it was a good run,
yeah.
I'd 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 be happy with that.
That would be cool.
That
That would
that
be really cool.
that's like the icing for me with this whole thing. To be honest.
To actually go on a
But
wee tour.
just to that vibe of being cramped in the van, possibly even sleeping in the van,
Yeah.
Um, I guess seeing the cities, but I mean you're not seeing them for long, right? Meeting
Most of
people,
it looks like travel.
yeah, yeah.
You just sorry, I cut you off. Continue.
No, no, no. I guess just meeting people as well, but I don't know. There's something that's always appealed to me with that. I'd be quite happy to date once and be like, you know what, I've done it.
Yeah.
Done it once. I'm a happy chappy.
Yeah, but on tick it off the bucket list type thing. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Just
But
say
I don't
that's
know if I could date and like you're saying, Signs of the Swarm and Lorna and that, man. That's proper full time, but I guess that would turn into their full time jobs, right? But
yeah,
having that resistance against that stuff every single day as well.
yeah, yeah. I know. Sorry, my cat's doing something stupid now. She's fine. So, is it? Is the main reason that you guys almost exclusively, or actually maybe just exclusively play Glasgow, is that just because you're always getting gigs through Hunter Hamilton? Or is there an actual reason that you haven't, like, played Edinburgh?
Well, Edinburgh we haven't been asked yet, and we haven't really thought about it, to be honest.
Right.
We thought we would say yes to a good few shows in Glasgow to kind of like get, put our foot down and say like we're here sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So Glasgow knows us, I guess. But I can't lie. I mean, when the mad legend Craig comes to us and says like, do you want to play with Vulvadinia? You're like, fuck yeah. I mean, I'm going to say yeah to that. A couple of shows they come up, and you just can't say no to. And I think that's what we've been kind of stuck in. The new.
Yeah.
I've certainly been in talks with people before and possibly, trying to organise something the new to do like a run elsewhere, maybe in par with new releases. But we're having a call the night and hopefully we'll, rattle that out. But
that'd be cool.
I know, I'd like to do that, but
yeah,
I guess we just kind of get offered the right shows, because we don't say aye to all the shows naturally, because obviously it's hard to get 6 guys in one area sometimes. Trust me, it's hard to do that sometimes.
Yep.
Oh, you don't think that's hard to do on paper, but it can be hard.
No, I trying to organize, just trying to organize my clan to just go and see my granny is difficult enough, but trying to get 6 adults that have all got their own shit going on, some of you guys have got family, it must be it's a wonder you guys actually ever get it together, basically.
Yeah. We don't actually, we don't practice that much. That last show we did practice quite a wee bit, because obviously we had Pete. He helped us out.
Yeah. He's another example of a good guy on the scene. He's so cool to speak to.
Yeah, I like him, man. He's helping. He certainly helped us out, man. He pulled us out of a wee hole there with playing that show, so that was really good.
Aye.
Really appreciate it.
Yeah. Yeah.
What was
I think. There's not really an exact topic, to be honest. If I was in a band and someone actually said to me, "Hey, do you want to support Vulvadinia?" I'd be like, "Aye," like,
yeah,
definitely, like, no doubt about that. It was mad what happened with that band, though. That was shocking to me, to be honest.
That was a bit crazy. Not long after we played with them.
Not long after at all. So that's what went off in my head when I thought, because they were like, when the Vulvadinia tour bus rolled in, and then the man himself, Duncan Bentley, got out. He introduced himself to everybody, like just the friendliest guy. And the band seemed in a good place, but like, it wasn't long after you'd played with them that all that shit came out. So it's like, I wonder how long that bullshit was actually going on for in the band, and they were just staying professional the whole time,
Yeah.
But it was, I was really surprised. I was really, really surprised by that one. Couldn't
Well, I
quite
guess you would want to, if you don't want to make a big fuss or something like that, right? If you can possibly deal with a situation in house, right?
Mm-hmm.
I know how I would rather deal with that, at their caliber. Like, if I was at their kind of level,
yeah,
I would maybe want to. I mean, I would like to think I would be able to deal with like in house.
Yeah.
Considering who they are, the bond that they should have, or not should have, the bond I would expect them to have.
Yeah, just from touring for such a long time, eh? You've got to form that bond after a while, presumably.
And the pot just boiled over, man.
Yeah, it was a sad situation. I mean, yeah, you can be wrong about people, I guess, but yeah, just actually having, being in the position, thanks to my my fucking relationship where, where you guys actually getting to speak to Duncan for a little bit, and he answered all my stupid questions and shit. It was good, but he just speaking to him. He just doesn't seem to have a violent bone in his body at all.
Yeah, I didn't actually speak to him that night.
No, you didn't get around to it.
No, well, I was just too nervous, right? I was shaking myself to even play in front of him, so I was like...
Oh, right, you were nervous for that one.
Yeah. Sometimes I get like that, depending on who we're playing with,
Right.
I just kind of go in myself, and I tend to do that a lot in some situations. I tend to do that in some situations, man, where I just I need prompted, I need somebody to talk to me. I've always been that way. So I just get nervous, and especially playing in front of them as well. I'm like, oh, nerves is put up even more.
I can imagine. So, what is the because there's no deathcore frontman university that you can go to and learn techniques, not in the same way that you could if you wanted to be like an opera singer or something like that. There's channels there. What was it actually like walking out on stage for the first time, being the guy that's right at the center, kind of leading the orchestra, so to speak? Like, have you managed to control the nerves? Have you got rid of them? Like, what was the deal?
And certainly the early days, man, I would gub these strong edibles before the set, so
right, okay,
that would kick in like halfway during the set, or just as I was about to walk on.
Right.
So that's what I used to do in the beginning.
Self-medicating.
Certainly interesting, I will say. They gigs are a wee bit of a blur, but just no. I think a lot of the time, well, at first when you first walk up, it's like breaking the ice initially when you go on the stage, or the first thing you're going to say or do.
Right.
That's after that, it's fine. But that thought process of going up on stage and doing what you're about to do is more scarier than the actual doing it.
That's true for that's true for a lot of things, I would say. It's
exactly
the anguish that you put yourself through beforehand. A lot of the time
is
exactly, or getting a piercing, or just anything. It's the shit that goes on in your head that's actually that's actually way worse. Yeah, I like the way that you actually just you guys start with your backs turned, and then you just turn around and you just go, "Hello, Glasgow," and that's how you break the ice. And I like that. Instead of just the kind of cliched kind of like, everyone open this pit up, everyone take a step forward, you're just like, "Hello, Glasgow, how you doing? We're ahead of the traitor." Yeah. I was like, that was quite refreshing. Yeah, I can't imagine being on stage at all. Even just playing the fucking bass or something like that. Not to shit on bass players, but like, there's a difference between being like at the back and then actually being at the front. The guy that's doing all that's actually chatting, like, that's. Yeah, you're good at it though, man. Like, you are.
Don't get me wrong. I feel like sometimes I feel like I've got my shit together now. Like, it's like the same with anything. The more you do it, the better you get, right?
Yeah.
I certainly feel better comfortable than I do now than I was back then. Trying to fill gaps, and I'm fucking in a completely different universe. Don't know where I'm on at that point, because of the edibles, right? And I'm trying to fill gaps in between songs and no make it awkward, and I'm just like, man, I'm high out my tits. And I need to talk to these people. Maybe this isn't a good idea.
I think that's the last situation I would ever want to be in, being intoxicated. Maybe drunk, but high, fuck that.
I've not been drunk since lockdown, man.
Oh, is that interesting? I've cut back heavily on the amount I'm drinking as well, just because I heard it's bad for you. Same reason I stay away from tobacco. I've cut down my tobacco intake by about 95% or something. If someone else is smoking one that's got a bit of tobacco in it, I'll have a wee bit, but like, I don't actually have it in the house anymore. So the drinking thing did you find that you were drinking too much, or did you go, I can just do without this?
Nah, but literally that, man. I didn't actually drink that often. Like,
Yeah.
I went through like my teen years of drinking in the park every weekend, that sort of thing. But
Every single Scottish person's got that story, eh?
yeah, so
Yeah.
naturally I done that, but and then it was just like an occasional thing, or like maybe if I went out for dinner, I would get a pint or
Yeah.
whatever. But it started to get further and further apart, and then the last time it was just a bottle of Mad Dog doing when we weren't allowed to be in each other's houses.
Right.
I just got a bottle. I think it was that Electric Melon Mad Dog I took down to my mates, and
Jesus, right.
I didn't
Okay.
even finish it, man. And he had to phone Becca and be like, "Darren's not coming home tonight. I'm looking after him."
Oh, right. It was one of
So
those drinking experiences.
yeah, it just didn't sit right with me for some reason, and believe believe me, I've had a good few Mad Dogs in my life, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know what went on that day, but that was just like the wee kick I needed to say, drinking's no for you, man. I
Yeah.
think I'm over it. There's just too many cons that outweigh the pros.
Yeah, you're right, man. Like I was never a heavy drinker, but I've been blessed or cursed, depending on what way you look at it, with a very good constitution for just any substances, basically.
Yeah,
So I can drink a fair bit and still, and like my sister, for example, she's got the worst tolerance ever. She's got the tolerance of like a 12-year-old. You know what I mean? Like it's just
yeah,
But I never had that, so I kind of realized that like for me to actually get a little bit tipsy, it takes quite a bit more than. I can't just have a couple of beers and actually I don't really feel that much. That's not me boasting. I'm not one of those guys like, oh, I can drink this amount. It's an actual fact. I've just got a strong constitution. And I thought to myself, this is going to add up. Like, if it's just 3 or 4 beers a couple of times a week, okay, cool. But I plan on living well into my 90s. That's a lot of beer. That's a lot of vodka. Yeah, that's gonna have an effect. And I thought, well, okay, I'm well past my athletic prime. I'm not getting any younger. If I can take it or leave it, probably just better to leave it, I guess.
yeah, yeah.
Like that's kind of the situation that I'm in right now. No, but just going back to the edibles thing. I honestly think edibles they're basically it's a different thing altogether than actually smoking.
Oh yeah, it's a different beast.
Like, holy shit. It's absolutely mental. I acquired some brownies one time,
Yeah.
about like a year ago, and I was like, all right, okay, cool, and I was high for 24 hours. Literally,
Does that, man?
I was astonished. I couldn't believe it. Like it got to like. It was like a like so. I was like very intoxicated, like very high the majority of the day, and then I slept, and then I woke up, and I was still going. I was like, "What the fuck is going on here? Is this just me now? Like, is this my new personality?" You know, it was
Yeah.
absolutely mental. And then that's just like some homemade stuff. Those like the actual companies that are making edibles now, they make them so friggin' strong. I feel like I might actually have a panic attack.
Yeah, I don't understand the people that are seeing like the YouTube shorts and that take these things, man, and it's sitting like I don't know, like 1,250 milligrams in this one pack, and he eats it all. Like, dude, what the fuck are you doing, man? I get blasted after like 20 milligrams.
That's
What
what
the
I'm
hell are you
saying.
What are you talk? Wait, I don't even want to know what he feels like, and I don't know. I guess that's never been my goal with him. Maybe take a wee bit more if it's like a night out or something, but I kind of like the edibles where you can cut and manage your portions, you know what I mean? So you're not getting like way too fucked up. You can still have a good time, but still be a human, I guess, a real human.
Still be a human being. Yeah, good way to put it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
I thought I had the dosages wrong because I was looking at like what's a standard dosage, and then I looked at what some of the like the ones that they're selling in like states in America and stuff, and I was like, that can't be the dosage that they're doing because all the stuff I've read says it's much lower than that. Like you said, well, like the 20s.
yeah.
I was like, how the fuck can it be 1,200? That's in one gummy. I'm like, that's incredible. That's like a year's worth in one sweet. It's like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah, I don't understand their measurements of it. I know the ones I get, like, is this boy? He's really decent, man. Trusted source and that.
Yeah, yeah.
He gives us these wee chews. So it's like wham chews,
Ooh,
refreshers, you know, like
very
that kind of
nice.
stuff. And it's 200 milligrams of the RSO, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if you literally Union Jack that chew, that gets you like what 25 milligram per
Mm-hmm.
chew that you can evenly like spread out and like almost microdose it if you want.
Yeah, yeah.
You can cut it even smaller, and then for that point you know you get like a no bad high off of one chew, and if you want it to be like if maybe you're going on a night out with the family or you know with
Yeah.
the mates or whatever, you could take that other one to maybe you know keep up with people who are getting absolutely hammered.
Aye.
Um, I'd much rather do that, man.
Yeah, same. I mean, being yeah, being that. I almost got tired of it, to be honest, when I tried those brownies. I was like,
Yeah,
I just woke up the next day and I was like, okay, can I just be sober now, please? Like, what the fuck is going on? This is it's absolutely mental. No, it's pretty wild, man. Same with just the actual THC content of some of this weed that's being produced now. Because now, like in a lot, like everywhere in America, and it's actually just legal. You just go to the dispensary, and I've been doing a wee bit of reading up on it because I'm planning on going to America sometime reasonably soon, and I definitely want to try it just because just the novelty of it. Actually, just having it, it's this thing that I enjoy doing, but it's it's legal. It's not,
yeah,
it's taxed
yeah,
basically, And I was just looking at some of the high grade stuff, and I'm like, wow, 30% THC. That's insane. That's one joint that'll do me the whole day, basically. Just fucking
yeah.
absolutely
I
wild.
guess that's what happens when you make it legal, and then
Yeah.
people's tolerances go up. There'll be people that probably have that for breakfast, man, and that's a bit crazy for me as well. But
The people that do it medicinally, they definitely do, because it's actually just medicine. There's nothing recreational about it at all. Their
yeah,
tolerance has got to be mad. Do you think we're anywhere near legalization here in the UK? Do you have any thoughts on that?
nah, man, I don't think we are.
You don't think we're close?
I think I mean medicinal we can get that right, but
Mm-hmm.
it just costs way too much.
It is
I
expensive.
mean, I kind of went down that route just to see. I was just curious, right? And
Yeah.
it's one of the ones where they don't tell you how much it costs until you're like in the application process, right?
All right. Okay.
So yeah, I done that, and I was just like, this just doesn't, this isn't worth it. You know, I was spending more money doing that just to say that I'm allowed to do it.
Yeah.
You know, nah.
Yeah.
I just don't see it happening, considering like what Theresa May's husband was like one of the biggest exporters of cannabis in the world at one point to Europe.
Oh, was he really?
Yeah, Theresa May's husband, something like that, man. I think it was
Oh,
like
wow.
2016. And I can imagine Parliament's still deeply involved with that because again, it's a moneymaker. But I really don't understand why they don't pull the finger.
I mean,
There's money to be made in that definitely for them, but it's not even at that point. At this point, it's just like I don't want to feel like a fucking. I don't want to hide. You know what I mean?
I know.
I don't
Yeah.
want to feel like a criminal just because I want to be. I want to feel different but still be responsible for
Yeah.
my actions. You know, I don't
Yeah.
know. If
No,
anything, I
I'm,
would
I'm
say
with
it's
you.
a mature option, and I know it's not for everybody, but for me it certainly is. And to feel like I need to be wary of police and stuff like that, it's just a bit shite, man. You're more
It is.
likely to get a fucking fight out of two people that are pissed than you're two people that are stoned. You know what I mean? I,
I've
I
I-
don't
I've
get
I've
it.
I've never seen someone smoke a joint and then go into a pub and throw a glass at someone's face. Never
No.
seen that. Never seen that happen before. But I've seen marriages end because of alcohol. Literally,
Yeah,
like,
like I guarantee you, man. I reckon most people walk into a venue stoned. I certainly do, and go, man. I wish I had a chair in here.
yeah,
Just-
yeah. I'm so glad to hear you say that, because at that Sonic Dissonance Festival, the only thing I could think was, I want a seat.
Yeah.
I want to sit down. I was like, I was close to actually looking around for a chair, and then I thought, you're already feeling old as fuck with your son being an adult and all that. You didn't want to be the old guy sitting in a chair at the back. Like, don't do that to yourself. But my legs were just fucking sore from standing. I was like, is this the stage that I'm at? I get sore legs, not from running, not from doing a marathon, not from doing Tai Chi or something, just from fucking standing watching metal. I was like, this is ridiculous, man. So fucking depressing. It is weird to me that it's not legalized in this country, because I tend to find that unless you're like a high-end dealer, or you're standing in front of a police station smoking a blunt, the police they're not massively bothered about people doing it, because I think a lot of them realize that everyone stoned isn't going to lead to fights, like we were just saying before. They're worried about people popping off with like alcohol and shit like that. So there's a more relaxed atmosphere in this country than there is in like other ones, where it's like you get lashed if you fail a drug test and stuff. You know, I think Singapore's got really, really stringent laws on marijuana specifically, and it would also make so much money because it's taxable. And just look at all the businesses that have sprung up in like Colorado and New York and all these places, in the States. It is puzzling to me what the holdup is. Like, is it just a kind of like, I don't want to say overly conservative, but just a kind of narrow-minded view that like weed smokers are just bad people? Like, is that what it is? It's a moral problem, not because it can't be it can't be a financial thing, because it would only help a country if you were able to tax that.
I think it's a mixture of things, and I think one of the things is the old mindset.
Yeah.
So these people that are in power now either grew up with this being enforced on them, or they were supporters of the enforcement.
Mm-hmm.
When, you know, the war on drugs was really, really at its peak.
Yeah.
And I think that mindset still sits within our government. I think that's
so.
a part of it. Because, like you say, money is definitely no one issue.
Nah. And it's not like it hasn't been done other places.
Yeah, and showing like good results, right?
Really good results. I mean, not only just financially, but I think it was Jordan Peterson. I heard him talking about this. He was being interviewed by Theo Von. I don't know if you know either of those people, but
yeah.
He was saying that violent crime has dropped significantly in Colorado after they legalized weed, and to the surprise of no one. And and opioid uses went down as well.
Yeah.
Like there's actual data. It's not just stoners throwing out anecdotes. It's actual data, and we still seem to have this. I think it's a moral issue. I really do. I think it's like you said. Yeah.
I think the police would push on it as well, man. I have a trusted source, right, and they've mentioned before. I know, take it as far as you go. Obviously, that person only goes so far, but that is mentioned that the police use that as an excuse. So obviously, they kind of just search you here. They need a reason, and that is a big reason that the police use to search you. That they felt like they could smell cannabis.
Oh God, yeah.
So naturally, I mean, like you say, is the majority of, I mean, the police probably walk past audio all the time, right, and see us standing there and nothing's happening because there's no much trouble.
Yeah.
But if they suspect something or want to check something and they don't have a cause, that's an easy one to write down in a fucking statement, innit? Or
it is.
Whatever their incident reports or whatever, you know.
Incident
I thought
reports.
I could smell cannabis, so I searched them and then found, I don't know, a knife or whatever.
Yeah, you're right. You're right, man. I appreciate the police. I see that there's problems with them, like more so, definitely more so in other countries, and we've got problems with them here. But not having the police, Like all the efforts to like that people wanted to that flash in the pan, defund the hashtag defund the police and stuff. I don't think people understand how much you would miss the police
Oh
if they
no,
were if they weren't there. But
I'm
at the
with you.
same, you're right though. Like that is actually just it's a legitimately good. You do get dirty cops that are just like, oh, I smelled marijuana, and there you go. Now you can just search someone, and
Yeah.
that's not really very good. So yeah, it's tough. It's tough.
I reckon they would push back in that, or the police would have some sort of say, and that would be maybe their say.
Possibly, yeah, possibly because the topic
You're not,
of sorry, go on.
you're not going to say, I can smell cocaine on you, or ecstasy, or mushrooms, you know? You're not going to say
Exactly.
that. Weed is like, you know yourself, man, it's stinking. So, it's easy.
It's the one thing that I do. It's the one thing that I hate about it. It's just how far the smell goes. It's
Oh,
so difficult to do it subtly.
yeah. I genuinely do like the smell of it, man.
I like the smell, but rather paradoxically, also it's one of the drawbacks of it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like love the smell, but then like someone for like 100 acres around you knows exactly what you're doing, and it's like, oh, for fuck's sake, you know, like you're trying to be subtle, and it's just it's a bummer. On the subject of drugs, do you have any experience with psychedelics? Have you tried them? Have you got any thoughts on them?
I've got thoughts. Thoughts that, yes, I do want to. I'm ready.
You've never
I've
done
always,
them,
I've never done them, man.
right?
I've always been quite cautious of that side of me.
Right.
Um, just about other drugs in general, to be honest.
Hmm.
But yeah, I felt like with the people that I know, the stories that I've heard,
Hmm.
everything I've read myself and stuff like that. I think in order to experience the experience that I do want, I'd like my psychedelic experiences to be spiritual,
Yes.
and that's nature, and be like in nature and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I think in order to get that proper breakthrough is what people seem to call
Hmm.
it. You need to be in a good mindset of your own
Yeah, that's true.
before going into it.
Yeah.
Obviously, it depends on what you're doing, and you know, depending how much you're taking to actually break through. But I think that's a very important part. Like, if you go into psychedelics with a bad mindset, I don't think I think a lot of the time that doesn't end up good for you. And I know, like there's a lot of research on that's been done now in
Yeah.
psychedelics, because it has been made open for like PTSD and stuff like that. But
Yeah. Yeah.
that's been administered in a controlled environment and stuff like that. So you
Yeah.
just don't know what that might trigger in your head. I don't know. I feel like you need to be in the right headspace for it, and as I've got into like my 30s and stuff, I feel like if anything, I think I'm ready, you know.
Yeah.
So that is coming soon in my life.
Yeah.
I think I think I'm ready to try it
Yeah.
responsibly.
Yeah.
Responsibly, I don't want to do it like, at a festival, fucking 7 shots down and popping an acid and all that. Like that doesn't sound like a good time to me.
That I I don't get why people think. Well, I guess I kind of do. At a music festival, if it's like a proper like hippie festival, you know, like I don't know if I'd want to like take some fucking LSD at, I don't know, some fucking major festival when there's bottles of piss flying over my head or anything, you know. But if it's a nice kind of
Yeah.
like earthy one, I get that. But
See, that's what I want.
too much unpredictability for me at a music festival, because
Yeah.
anything can send you spiraling on hallucinogenics. Like it just set and setting is what people
Yeah.
always say. Like, and
I,
yeah,
settings. I don't know. Settings a big part of it as well. I think
yeah,
everybody needs to be comfortable, and I think it's responsible to always have a watcher, right?
yeah. Trip
Somebody
sitter.
who's somebody who's done it before and is happy to just take a sit back, make sure everything's fine.
Yeah, definitely. I've got extensive experience with hallucinogenics, from ranging all the way up to really, really good to then having an absolute train wreck of a trip, which was absolutely awful.
Oh God.
Really, really bad. But I was still at the stage where I kind of thought that my seemingly unlimited constitution will just do me fine, basically.
Uh-huh.
So I took that amount. I'll just double it next time. It was have you heard of one called 2CB?
No.
It's a synthetic one. Well, I know LSD's synthetic, but this is kind of a bit more. It's been around a little bit less time. I tried that and I doubled it and just had an absolute train wreck of a time. But it was because I took too much, and it was because the setting wasn't right. That's where the badness came from.
Yeah.
So yeah, you've got to go in. You've got to go in responsibly. It is interesting though, because I've been noticing the research, noticing the use of these drugs for PTSD and depression and all that type of stuff. The amount they actually give you, it's not really a psychedelic experience. It's more like I wouldn't say it's such a low dose, but I was looking at the doses and I was like, right, okay, cool. That's not a breakthrough dose for anybody, really.
There's this program that I know what you're talking about. There's this program that's running now. It's fairly new and it's about DMT.
Oh wow, okay.
So the guy was saying like a DMT experience was like what 10 to 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Like if you're taking it through a vape or smoking it.
Yeah.
But this thing's gone ahead. I actually applied for it just to see if they emailed me back, right? But apparently this doctor, while monitoring you, puts you in a DMT peak experience for an hour. So you experience
Jesus.
You're sitting through that for an hour, and then he's got this shit in your head monitoring your brain waves and shit like that. But an hour, and apparently you can go longer if you want to.
Oh my God.
Well, I mean, tell me what that looks like.
I mean, fucking hell. I mean, the thing is, I've never tried DMT, but the thing is with it is that it's 15 minutes in Earth hours, but not when you're actually tripping.
No, I know. I've been looking at. I think I've got a pretty trusted source for that, so I've been on the fence. But I wanted to start with mushies first, naturally, right?
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
because
they just grow. So
exactly, but a friend of a friend grows them,
right?
And we were going to go a wee camping trip, but it got cancelled. So I think it's been pushed back to spring.
Right.
So I think that's when we're going to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Wait for the good weather to come back and that. We just missed the good weather when we started to plan it, and it just kind of fell through. So
I know, and it's just been back to back fucking storms now, hasn't it? Like
it's been pure shite, man.
Proper shite. Give me 1 second, man. The door just went. I just want to make sure it's no like just give me a second.
I'll pee.
All good?
Yeah, Alex wants one of these.
Huh?
The neighbour wants one of these.
Oh, okay. Where's Mum?
Mum's on the sofa.
Oh, okay. We'll go speak to Mum. Nah, it's cool. It's just the family that live next door. The stepdad's a mechanic, so they're going to do some work on Emma's car. So nice. I just wanted to make sure that wasn't like the police at the door or something like that, because that's what would happen when I'm filming a podcast, obviously. What was I going to say? Have you ever tried ecstasy or MDMA? Hello, can you hear me? Okay, we seem to have lost him. Right, bear with me, folks. Bear with me, folks. He'll be right back. Everything good? Yeah.
Hello.
Ah, cool. Right, cool, no problem. Yo, what's up, dude? Yo, what's up? Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I took that opportunity to go and pee. I thought you were away.
Yeah, no, it's okay. No, it's all good, man. It's all good. Right, let me just let me get my screen back up. Cool. Yeah. Lingering on the drug thing. Have you ever tried ecstasy or MDMA?
No.
No. That's
I thought I did one time, but that's a story.
that I want to hear that. I want to hear that story if it's not too embarrassing or anything.
We and my mates went to London to see this artist called Comtruz. He's like kind of synthy. No, the way I could describe it is like synthy 80s dubstep.
Oh, right. Okay, that sounds good.
It's so good, man. He's amazing. And this venue was like in Camden. It was called Coco, and it was a converted theatre into a nightclub / venue.
Uh-huh.
And it was fucking stunning, man. And we were wearing all these suits, and
Mm-hmm.
it was like a big night. And then my mate got offered MDMA in the toilet, and I was already dead paranoid that night, and I ended up taking it. And I don't know if it was like a kind of placebo or what was happening, and it was hard to describe, but
Right.
I don't think I either took enough or it was just like a placebo, right?
Mm-hmm.
But again, I'm not 100% sure what happened that night, so...
Right, just one of those one of those ones that you put in the folder of like weird or unusual.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's another drug that I feel slightly wasted. A lot of people take that and then go clubbing and just like get the vibes of like the music and the lights and the dancing and all that, and that's all really good. But I actually found really good therapeutic qualities with MDMA. The way you can open up, the conversations that you have. They're using that in therapy now as well. You've probably heard a wee bit about that, or maybe you haven't. But
No, I have MDMA.
yeah, MDMA. They're using that for. Does that? It's becoming a bit more mainstream now. Actually, just this actual you'll take a therapeutic dose of MDMA and then actually just speak to like an actual psychiatrist. It's the results in terms of helping people with depression and PTSD. I think it's like 90% of people that tried it found like a 50% reduction in their symptoms or something like that. Like significant, like really, really significant.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. This research is going on, but that DMT one, that sounds incredible. It wouldn't surprise me if whatever they're scanning, I'm not a scientist, but whatever the nodules on your head are doing, whatever the brainwave activity they're doing is, I imagine they're probably going to see some stuff that they've never seen human brains do before.
Yeah.
When you're talking about DMT. Another weird thing about that is that most people report a similar trip on DMT.
That was part of this guy's inspiration for. Obviously, he's doing it for other things, but what this guy elaborated on, I think it was Graham Hancock that was talking about it.
Oh, Hancock, right, yeah.
What was it he says? That a lot of people talk about these entities that come and speak to them.
Yes.
And the entities are like either say roughly the same thing or they're very, very similar to other people's experiences. And apparently this guy has got a strong interest in that as well.
Yeah, like clockwork elves is a word that I keep hearing with DMT. People, a lot of people have reported the exact same thing. It's makes you wonder.
Yeah, what's going on?
It really makes you wonder, man. Like, it might just be the fact that we're all the same species and our brain's going to respond, like, in a kind of similar way, and we're kind of trained to, like, recognize things as, like, pattern, like, human being behavior and stuff like that. Like, we see, like, faces and stuff. Like, we evolved that way. But I don't rule out the fact that there's something actually very, very, I don't want to say supernatural, but maybe slightly spooky going on there. It's weird. Very, very strange.
So, I mean, through the ages, psychedelics have been a big part of culture. I mean, the Egyptians used them. I mean, I think the big one that sticks out, I know there's DMT in it, right? But ayahuasca.
Ayahuasca. That's the one. Yeah.
I would love to do that. I would love to do that.
I'd love. Yeah, exactly. Do it with like the guide.
Yeah.
That would be phenomenal.
I'd love to do it. My partner said she would get me that for my 50th.
Right. Well, hopefully you get it done a wee bit before that, man.
I know.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's I guess I don't know. It's just back on the list of priorities and places we want to go.
Yeah.
But she knows I want to date, and she says, "I'll get you for your 50th," and I think she's quite keen to try it too.
Yeah.
But like he says, I'd like to something as heavy as ayahuasca. I'd like to do that in a controlled environment, right?
Yeah.
With a guide.
Yeah. Definitely.
Ordering some black market fucking juice and drinking it in your living room. I don't think that's going to go well.
I mean, there's a certain unpredictability about psychedelics. Like, sometimes people can be in the best frame of mind and the setting's right and they've done it before, and then sometimes sometimes the trips will just go south. But there does seem to be something, I don't know, it doesn't seem very befitting to take ayahuasca in your living room and then just watch The Sopranos tripping balls or something. Do you know what I mean? Like, you kind of want that extra spiritual side to it, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that's what I'm after with psychedelics. It took me a long time to figure that out, but yeah, I think I'm ready and willing to accept it, I guess, and no get too scared when it comes. Hopefully.
Yeah, well, I think there's the anxiousness of doing it, like of doing it either way, basically. No matter how much you prepare, there's always that kind of like, all right, gonna be shot out the cannon, dipped in glitter. All right, here we go. You know, like it's pretty mad. To segue off, to segue off drugs, I always find that it's relevant to at least mention the subject of COVID, just because it was something that affected everybody all at the same time, fundamentally worldwide. I mean, unless you were an uncontacted tribe, that was the only way you didn't hear about COVID, pretty much.
Yeah.
And that memory will stay with me for the rest of my life. Just like, you know, just hearing about it. You hear about some stuff going on in China. You hear about this kind of bird flu type thing that's going on, and then the news starts to go, it's getting a wee bit closer, and then you start to hear about other European countries, and then before you know it, it's like a sci-fi movie, and old Bojo is on the TV telling everyone to lock down. It was surreal. Yeah, it
was a bit crazy, wasn't it?
It was mad. It was mad.
You know what it was? That was like our blackouts, right?
Yes.
That's like, imagine hearing fucking sirens and getting told you're not allowed to have one single light on and shut the curtains after a certain time and all that, and you might get bombed. Like, I know there is I don't think anything does compare to COVID since the blackouts, right? Nationally, no, like a national kind of thing.
I don't think so. I don't think
COVID
so.
COVID wasn't just national; that was the world, right? So that takes that to a next level. But I think the older generations could compare the blackout to COVID, and it was a bit surreal, man. I won't lie, but for me personally, business was just usual. I still had to work, man. It was so annoying, man. My partner's literally getting like full-time wage and living her best life in the sun.
Yeah.
She was loving it. She loved it. But she was one of the people that wasn't affected by well, she was affected by COVID. But she says by it stopping because she was
Yeah.
getting paid to live her best life.
I know it was wild. Me and Emma realized that as well. Is that like COVID was actually an upswing for us. Like,
Yeah.
if you feel kind of bad saying that, just because so many other people were just in really unfortunate situations, just by dint of the fact that they didn't have a garden
That's
type thing.
I know, but that's not your fault, right?
I know it's not, but it kind of felt icky somehow, just because I could just see that so many other people were having such a hard time with it. How did so it was business as usual for you? I guess I should ask then. I'm trying to figure out what job you could have done where you were working all the way through. What is it that you actually do for a living?
I work in a control room for a shopping centre.
Oh, right,
It's
okay.
pretty good, man. 4 on, 4 off, 12-hour shifts. Can't complain.
Is that
It's very,
day shift or night shift?
I do both.
Both.
I usually do like 2 weeks days, 2 sets days, 2 sets nights. I mean,
How do you, sorry, go on.
I've definitely worked in worse places, but this job's pretty decent, man.
Right.
A good. It's half the battle. You've got decent amount of. No, the people run about you. Most of them are, decent. I've got to say most.
Most, yeah.
Yeah. So that's definitely half the battle, right?
Oh, it might be the whole battle, to be honest.
Yeah, it's
Like,
definitely in some workplaces, man.
The best job I ever had, not to get off that subject too quickly, but the best job I ever had was working in a Burger King, and it was because of the manager we had. Literally, the manager was cool. He hired more cool people. He wasn't a Tim Pot Hitler style guy,
Yeah.
Easy to work with. That was the best job I ever had, but it had nothing to do with actually serving burgers. It was just because just him and the people that he hired. He just hired good people. He wasn't an idiot. You know what I mean? It was just it was good. It was good for that reason. But yeah. So your experience of working through COVID was basically just business as usual then.
Business as usual, man, but extra boring because there was nothing happening, right?
God,
It
that's
was just boring. I'm literally
yeah.
going to get paid to sit in a room for 12 hours with nothing happening and then go home. It was so shit.
Yeesh. Yeah, that does. Yeah, it was unfortunate that some people got furloughed and the others didn't. Basically, some people have just got kind of essential jobs. So, like, when you say a control room, are you like monitoring CCTV and stuff like that?
Yeah, CCTV, man. But it's like a mix between CCTV and admin. There's a lot of admin stuff to what we do,
Right.
and distribution lists where different things need to get sent. So
I can't
it's a
imagine
nice
there was that much to do during COVID. Then, like as you're saying, I can't believe you did. I can't believe they wanted to actually pay you because there must have been like 50%
Well,
less shit to do.
it's an insurance issue because we operate the life safety systems for the building, and
Oh right, okay,
there was one part of your building was open to let people cut through at one point.
right,
But because even if there was nobody in the building, like absolutely nobody, because they are there, it needs to be like manned and operated at all times.
right,
So
okay.
it's a 24-hour room. So it's that room is. I don't think it's ever been empty, and it might have been at one point when I was there, but I don't think it's been empty since I've been there.
Right, okay. Right. Right, interesting. So like business as usual during COVID, but did it did it affect you mentally? Like were you like concerned what was going on? Were you concerned about the government locking everyone down? Like what was your, if you can remember, like was it literally just smooth sailing for you, or did you feel some a sense of panic some days where it's like, what the fuck is actually going on here? Are we just going to be on lockdown for the rest of time? Is it going to be like living in China? Like, what was your thought process during it?
I guess it was a bit bewildering to begin with, but you'll remember yourself, right?
Mm-hmm.
In true times of panic, and portrayed in all TV series and movies and games, no, everybody's running to the supermarkets to buy toilet roll, right? So that's my first indication that it can't be that bad. Right,
Yeah,
I know
okay,
a lot of people died, right? But that's what made me not panic, right? Right, stuff must be okay because this is what people are panicking to buy, and I can still buy shit. So,
yeah,
um, I wasn't really fussed in that way. I think it was pretty smooth sailing.
right.
Probably more frustrated just because Becca was off and getting paid, and I was still going in doing nothing and getting paid. So
Yeah.
that was just a bit annoying in that way because I wanted a bit of that follow action.
I mean, I think everyone did. Everyone did. Yeah. Emma fell pregnant during COVID.
Ooh.
Yeah. So that was stressful as fuck. I can't describe that any other way. Just the uncertainty of just, and like a lot of other people, I became slightly obsessed with the daily COVID stats that were just on every single news channel. I found myself just constantly checking the news the whole way through it. And in hindsight, I wish I hadn't, because it didn't really give me any... All I was worried about was mask, no mask. Distance, don't distance. This is open, this is closed. But looking at the stats every day, I don't think that did anyone any good.
No,
Nah.
we naturally watched it every day in the room because we've got TV in there. It's 24 hours on the news.
Right.
In case something happens, right?
Mm-hmm.
It might affect the day to day. So naturally, when that would come on, we would all go in and be on watching it as well.
Yeah.
Even if there was definitely some people that weren't interested, and they would still come round and watch it just because it was something today. It was something to look forward to that day.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it was a bit. It was all very weird, man.
Yeah. Very strange.
How much more to it is, I don't know, but I think it's safe to say that it came from that lab, right, by now.
I mean, yeah, it's surely right. I mean, that was treated like a tinfoil hat conspiracy theory when people started throwing that idea around.
Oh yeah, straight away they got shunned, man.
Yeah, and yeah.
Even if it's no act, like I don't think it was deliberate. But even if it wasn't, what if somebody just handled something, and maybe put the glove in their pocket and discarded it when they were outside, something like that, like something completely accidental and innocent. And I think that was more likely to be the cause.
Yeah, I don't think it was malicious. I think if it was going to be malicious, they would have released something a lot more harmful.
Yeah, exactly.
That was always my thing. Like when the conspiracy theorists came out, and God Almighty they came out in their millions after the government telling everyone to stay in their house. All the conspiracy theorists are going to go completely bonkers at that, So it was expected that they would kind of rise up, but. Yeah, trying to say it was some kind of like germ warfare or something. Like I understand that people died from COVID. I'm not trying to say that it was completely harmless. If I was, if I was an 85-year-old with asthma, it would have been a lot more scary than being like a guy in his 30s, obviously. But like, really, if they actually wanted to do it maliciously, they would have done it with something that was a lot more dangerous. Unless I'm missing something, but
no, I think you're right, man. Certainly, if it was me. If I'm in one of the labs playing God, right, creating artificial pathogens, right,
mm-hmm.
nice wee shout out to they boys.
Yeah, I was just gonna say those guys slap, yeah.
But if I'm in a lab creating this shit, then surely there's got to be something worse than that. I'm pretty sure we could think of something that's completely ridiculous, and they've got something that's like 5 times more ridiculous locked in a wee safe in there. Why
Probably.
is that no?
Exactly.
If it was meant.
The flesh-eating bacteria and stuff like that. Like why was that? I mean, some of those places have got like smallpox in a petri dish and stuff. Like if you really wanted to fuck with us, you could have done something done something like that, I guess. Yeah. Yeah, I try not to, like, I talk about COVID from, like, a more kind of, like, personable perspective, rather than going into, like, like, was it ethical, like, were the lockdowns
Yeah.
necessary and all that, because I don't have the knowledge to actually speak with any authority on that. There was so many people popped up thinking they knew about virology and epidemiology and how viruses and diseases work and stuff like that. And there was so many people giving their opinions, still are. And I'm like, you're not qualified for this, I'm afraid.
Oh,
like,
dude, I used to, right, I don't like politicians, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I hated the people that would, like, you, exactly what you say, is it would come up, like, oh, this cunt, he's doing it this way, he should be doing it this way. No, wait a minute. This guy is just a person, and this thing has happened, and they don't have anything to prepare for it, and
Yeah.
they're acting off their natural instinct and how to deal with it.
Yeah.
Give them a fucking break, man.
I know.
You would, surely fucking overweight 54-year-old fucking Bob across the road knows how to run the country better during an epidemic, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Away you go and have a shot at it, you wanker.
I know. You're so right, man. You're so right. Yeah.
I don't really like the snidiness and all that with the government. That's a whole different story, right? But if we're talking literally these organisations just trying to solve this issue for millions of people,
Yeah.
and something that they haven't prepared for, it wasn't in the book that they can prepare for,
Yeah.
and it was just unfolding as it came.
Yeah.
Come on, you can't turn around and you can't give them fucking shite for that, because I know for a fact if you were on that podium, you wouldn't get it all right. So shut up, sit down.
Yeah, you're so right, man. You're so right. I wish more people, had that opinion. Like, like, there's the other side of it where, like, I think governments, the world had been warned many times by people. Like, I think Barack Obama actually put money aside for, like, a pandemic emergency response team or something like that.
Yeah.
And then as soon as Trump came in, that was the first thing to go. And then COVID hit just 2 seconds later, and it's like, oh my fucking God, But it wasn't like this was unexpected. There was lots of people saying, look, the technology's out there. If someone wants to, even if it's a mistake, you still need to be prepared. And you also have to be prepared for someone doing this actually, like, as in, like, germ warfare stages,
Yeah.
So you could make the case that, like, there was a lot of people that, that should have been ready that weren't. But everyone seems to forget that hindsight's 2020. Everyone's looking back now and going, oh, we didn't have to lock down for this amount of time. This was ridiculous. But like you said, it was unfolding in real time.
Yeah.
They just had to deal with it, and we did okay. There's a lot of places that didn't do so good, Like, I think I don't know if Italy's going to recover from a lot of the damage that COVID did there. Like, that was terrifying what was going on in Italy, and I think still is, actually. I think India got it. Yeah.
Their population is, there's a lot more old people in Italy,
Yeah.
and they're obviously the vulnerable ones, right?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I think India got it. India got hit really bad with it as well. Yeah, really, really bad. I mean, 5 seconds ago I said, trying not to go down that road with COVID, and here I am going down that road. But but there was my heart did open up to so many people, because I was with my family. We had like a garden. We had lived in a nice community, but I imagined, like, what it must have been like as, like, a single guy or single girl, single person, that, like, was depressed, having problems with mental health issues, really need the gym, really needed people, like, company to get them through rough times, and then they're living like yeah, exactly. It's just like, no, that's not happening. And you're also, it's the middle of summer, it's 30 degrees, and you're in London, and you're halfway up one of those big ominous looking tower blocks, and you're just stuck there. Holy shit, that's yeah, my heart goes out to people in that situation. It's really that's just it's a situation that some people just didn't actually, they weren't able to deal with
Yeah.
at all.
No, I totally feel that.
Yeah, really, really sad. Yeah, I felt especially sorry for my granny. She lived in Edinburgh her whole life. She's got like a big like family home down in Leith, and I don't think a day goes by where she doesn't have a grandchild, sometimes a great grandchild going to see her. You know, like friends, all that type of stuff. That big house must have looked very, very, very even bigger and very lonely when it was just her and my granddad there. You know, used to having all these people coming around, used to having your sons
Yeah.
and for, you know, and then just going to actually not having anyone in your house for like 18 months. It was like,
It was a long time, man.
it was a long time. Yeah. Seriously long time.
Yeah. I guess I don't think about it that way, but there was a lot of people.
Yeah. Yeah, it was
Um,
a lot of people had it worse off.
It wasn't so smooth sailing.
No, it just so lucky to have just my kids around me, you know.
The kids had like space to go somewhere.
Yeah, definitely. I can't remember if we spoke about this beforehand, but are you a gamer? You into games?
Oh, I play, bro.
You play, bro.
Oh, I play.
Tell me more. What type of games do you play?
Well, right now I'm playing through Starfield.
Oh right.
Um,
Well, there we go. We can drop the anchor right there. How are you finding it? Because the hype that was around that game was fucking insane. Did it live up?
I didn't realise there was any hype until the game was out.
Right.
I didn't even know the game was coming out until it was out.
Mm-hmm.
And I've personally not had any mad issues as of yet. I mean, I'm only like level 20 something.
Right.
So I've sunk a wee bit of time into it. I know the general scope of things.
Mm-hmm.
I've no sunk too much time into the shipbuilding or the outposting
Right.
as of. I've got like a pure basic outpost, but as far as I've been led to believe, that the outposting and transferring of like resources and that, and these automatic dispenser things are a bit buggy and stuff.
Right.
Again, I've no got that far in my outposting knowledge to see if that's the case for me.
Mm-hmm.
But personally, I'm enjoying it so far. I like the story. I've liked the missions that I'm doing now, and the combat seems to be definitely not the worst combat I've played. So
Right.
I'm having a
Okay.
good time with it, man. Even just
Right.
the cruising in the spaceship and the space battles as well. That's pretty good. I do like that. I don't even know what the game's optimized more to. Was it optimized for the PC or the other way about?
I always kind of just presume that things are probably going to be optimized for PC, generally speaking, because PC's kind of master race still, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So I think it was probably most things tend to run better on PC.
So if the complaints are all coming for, then the Xbox, and that makes sense, because I've not ran into any major issues other than like maybe the odd crash here and there, but
Right.
you know.
What are you playing it
That's
on?
PC.
PC, right? Okay, so right, that's good. Yeah, usually bugs, the really buggy games like Cyberpunk 2070, whatever that was called. A lot of the bugs on that were on console. I never played it, but the early days of that, it looked like it was just unfinished. Basically, it was just comically glitchy. But so Starfield's you would recommend then?
I like it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm having a good. If you're into a good story, aye.
Yeah. No, that's cool.
Then,
That's cool. How take me back. How did you get into gaming? What were your earliest memories?
Probably playing PlayStation 1.
Right.
Playing there used to be. I actually still have that that game disc and booklet in the spare room. For a way back then.
Right.
It was a Jurassic Park game, and
Oh wow. Right. Okay.
you played as like a wee guy, and you swapped through the dinosaurs too. So there's times where you're like the raptor or the T-Rex, and you're munching people.
Right. That's fucking tight.
It's so good, man.
Mm.
But that was probably my earliest memory of gaming. To be fair.
Right, and then you went, and you probably went on to Final Fantasy and Metal Gear Solid and all that shit, or have I got that wrong?
No Final Fantasy, more Metal Gear. I
Right,
edged towards that side of things.
right.
I've never actually played Final Fantasy, to be honest. I've never played one.
You've never played any Final Fantasies? Wow, holy shit.
No. But I was naturally attracted to like the shooters, right?
Mm-hmm.
In this day and age, I like. It's kind of morphed into like hardcore or mill sims.
Oh,
No so
right,
much.
yeah.
Mill sims are a wee bit too far with me with the radio chatter and all that, but
Yeah,
I like a nice wee mix between hardcore and casual. You know,
right.
with hardcore without it being too serious. Like I like the thought of if I get hit in the stomach, I'm gonna go down rather than do a backflip and 6 jumps and
Yeah,
all that
aye.
nonsense.
Aye.
But don't get me wrong, like if I was to like maybe load up Overwatch or something like that, I could still play it. Like it's still competitive, but it's just not my go-to, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Um, so I like I particularly play Insurgency, Hell Let Loose. I like that. Have you seen Ready or Not?
I don't think I have, no.
That's pretty good, man. It's a tactical hardcore shooter, and it's a SWAT team based. So
Right.
you get these different sites around the city, and you're infiltrating them and clearing them of hostages and stuff. And the way the AI react with is really really cool, man. And see like the way they react with getting shot, where they've been shot, the
Yeah.
caliber of what they've been shot, and the way they act after they've been shot. So I mean, obviously you could spray them, they're going to be dead. But see if you only put like a couple of bullets into them, depending on where it is, they'll
Right.
always act different. And sometimes it can be really fucking brutal, man. To the point where I'm like, oh my god, man, I'd one of them pull a gun out and shoot himself one time because he
Oh
got shot
my
in the neck.
god.
And
Oh.
it looked see with the right lighting and all that, I was like, oh my god, man, I need to go and fucking have a lie down after that.
Jesus. Oh my god, that's fantastic and horrific all at the same time. Oh my god.
Yeah, I don't play too much it, because it's one of the games where you really need to play with other people, I think, to get the full benefits of it.
Right, yeah, yeah.
I think you can play online with randoms, but you know how that goes, right?
Oh god.
Sometimes you can get good people, most of the time you don't. So
I, I I played Overwatch for a little bit, and I just realised that what I need are people that have a decent understanding of the mechanics. A lot of people play those games like Overwatch like it's just team deathmatch. They're just trying to kill as many people as possible, and that's not how you play those games at all. Like there's a lot more to it. You kind of need the person that understands the mechanics, and you need them not to be a toxic dickhead. And 9 times out of 10, you never got those two things. You either got a team that didn't know what they were doing, or you just got pure toxicity the whole time. Because I always played healer in Overwatch, and anytime something goes wrong in Overwatch, the healer gets blamed. No matter what the stats are, no matter how much healing you've done, if you lose, you're always the one on the chopping block. And I thought, this isn't actually fun. There's a potential for fun here, but this is actually just pissing me off more than anything else. So I swore off team games after that, unless I'm actually playing with buddies, which I haven't done for fucking yonkies. But it's, yeah, if you need a team where each person's actually got a job to do, you can't trust randoms are going to be able to do that.
yeah, I think there's definitely a good community in Insurgency. I play that quite a wee bit.
That's cool.
I don't know if the game remembers who it matches you with, but you tend to match with the same people. But I know they're getting more popular. Well, I think they kind of helped that scene get a bit more popular by coming to console, right?
Right.
Because I got the PS5 downstairs and the PC's the Wii man's, but I jump on it every so often when he's not using it.
Yeah.
But the community in Insurgency is pretty good, and it's no. I wouldn't say it's very toxic. I've
Right.
not experienced that yet in the hardcore scene, because it is a wee bit of a niche, people they tend to come on and take it a wee bit serious. So
Right.
even on Insurgency, some guys take it a bit too serious. So
Yeah.
when they're on the terrorist team, they'll start shouting Allah Akbar and all that. They'll get really into it.
Oh Jesus! Full role playing. Yeah.
Oh yeah, some guys love it, and even if it's the only guy in the lobby doing it, he'll do it to his full potential. But see, when you get a full lobby of them doing it, man, it's quite entertaining. I just sit with my
Jesus.
mic muted. I can acknowledge yous and do whatever like through the command chat thing. Like I
Yeah.
don't need to speak. But there is
Yeah.
a couple of the games that just take that intensity a bit further, where you do need communication.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
Ready or Not's one of them. So
Yeah. My Josh tried to show me Arma 3 one time, a full milsim, and I was like, wow, 5 different buttons for a different level of crouch. Holy shit. That's fucking wild. Like that's properly wild. Like I just know lying down and standing up. That's the shooting positions that I've got, but like 50, like it was like 50 keybinds or something like that to play that game. I'm like, I may as well just actually go and join the army at this stage. That's just that's wild. Have you ever played League of Legends or Dota?
no.
No. That's probably why you're such an outgoing, happy person. That speaking of toxicity, whew, holy shit. I was warned going into it. Like it was like, all right, you want to try League? Okay, right, cool. But you're going to meet some toxicity, and yeah. If I'd continued to play that game, I would have just lost all hope for humanity. Basically, like it was just the absolute worst of the worst. It was brutal.
I don't even know what it is.
It's a MOBA style game, so it's like a strategy game, but you're on a team with 5 people and you each have a role to play, and it's point and click, but there's also like RPG elements to it. And there's usually like 3 lanes, so you've got like 2 that go at the top, and then you've got the mid laner, and then you've got the bot lane, and then you've got a guy called the jungler. They're basically stupidly complicated strategy games where you just control one guy. It's the older, the more hardcore version of that is called Dota, the Defense of the Ancients.
Yeah.
I tried to get into that, and I realized that like there's games that are complicated, but it doesn't take that long to learn the rules. Like chess, for example. Chess is very complicated, but it would only take you really about an hour to learn the rules. Pretty much, like it's not that bad. But with Dota, there's so many different mechanics, and it's so difficult, and there's so many games within games, and there's like over 250 characters, and and you can buy items and shit. I thought all the complexity plus the fact that it's not actually enjoyable because of the toxicity, I was like, nah, there's no way. There's no way. It's just I would sooner do it as an esport rather than just a hobby. Because it's just far too fucking complicated. Yeah, brutal.
I like the kind of strategy games I'm into, like kind of base building. I like Dawn of War and Command and Conquer.
Yes.
That's the kind of strategy games I like to get behind, man.
Have you ever tried StarCraft?
I have not, no.
No, StarCraft 2. That's the kind of. It's the main competitive real-time RTS that people play. It's not massively complicated, but the actions per minute for some of these guys get up to like the 400 actions per minute mark.
Right.
Which is kind of incredible to think. Like I thought that was bullshit because my dad used to play it quite a bit. He got me into it, and I was like, 300 actions a minute? How is that actually possible? But they're like building stuff at home and also doing 2 different fights and also building at different parts of the map. So they're just using like camera locations, and they're just constantly just like between them. And I thought, nah, man, you need to be a fucking Jedi to play that game to a high level. That's just absolutely ridiculous. Like I played it for a little bit, but me and Josh got into it, but we realized that like it's not like just loading up Fortnite and just having a wee bit of fun with it. It's a game you have to really actually train for. You feel like it's that you're going to do it in the Olympics or something. And I just thought, I don't have the time for this. I really don't. It's too much. It's too much. It's too much of an investment, man. I can't do it. So again, not to put you on the spot, but if you had to name a bunch of your favorite games of all time, what would those games be? Just off the dome.
Oh fuck. God damn it. Maybe Battlefield 4.
Battlefield 4, right?
Battlefield 4 after the all the issues were addressed at the release, right? Because they had a pretty rocky start.
Yeah.
But you know, give them their due. They stuck to their guns with it, and it became. I think Battlefield 4 helped that franchise become what it is now. To be honest, because that's when they really. Well, I think they really started to engage with the community, DICE, and naturally you've got the number crunchers EA that they're tied to, which is just a shame.
Yeah.
But the guys do some good stuff, and I think Battlefield 4 showcased a lot of that.
Right.
I don't know. It was a good time. Battlefield 4 was a good time. I would go as far to say as Insurgency as well.
Right.
It's just, I don't know, there's something about it.
Yeah.
If you're like wanting to get into the whole hardcore milsim side of things, that's definitely one of the first games I would say stoke by, because you can draw a lot of lines between that and like casual shooters, you know.
Right. Okay.
So if you want to test the waters, I'd say Insurgency is a good one for that.
Right. Interesting.
But I guess story-wise, I think Red Dead Redemption, right? 1 and then 2. Like,
holy shit.
Jesus Christ, man. That shit caught me off guard. Big time.
Dude, I can't believe the level of detail that's in Red Dead Redemption 2.
Oh, it's insane, isn't it?
It's absolutely mind blowing. People are still finding. Like, I saw this video. It was just things that were discovered recently in Red Dead Volume 19 or something like that. And it was people. It was a full compilation of people just looking at the wildlife and how they interact.
Oh, I've seen that.
Yeah, and it was like 3 wolves had a bear cornered, and that's just happening in the wild in this game, where there's like a separate plot and there's all these mechanics and stuff. And people are still finding secrets in that game now, just stumbling across random huts that have got like ciphers in them and stuff that people have to decrypt. Yeah. Fucking incredible, man.
The story, oh my god. Just the whole thing. See with John Marston, man.
Yeah.
That whole thing, and then Arthur. Both of the games, man, deserve an Oscar. Or whatever the Oscar equivalent is to that.
Yeah, but a gaming BAFTA or something, isn't it? Yeah. Something like that. Yeah. No, I'm such a geek. All my favorite games are like Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time, and like Final Fantasy VII and shit like that. I was an RPG guy from like a really, really young age. I liked shooters. I played a lot of like Halo way back in the day. But because I think if you're a gamer, who hasn't, even if you don't like shooters, who hasn't played Halo, right?
Yeah. Like
everyone's played that. But yeah, no, I was much more of an RPG guy. Yeah, and just I remember. Did you ever play Diablo?
No, there's a guy in my work who's a big fan of Diablo, though. He's always banging on about it.
Yeah, I remember playing Diablo 1 on a dial-up connection with my buddy Aiden. Way back in the day, a fucking dial-up connection. We lived in the same town. You know what I mean? And like just basically across the road, and just having that makes me sound like I'm about 90 years old or something, but the internet's just come such a long way in such a short space of time that like just a guy that's 35 can just remember like the
phone. LAN parties.
LAN parties, dude, right? Tell me about it.
I missed them. There's something about like we can. It's good we can play games together and we're in house and we're in comforts. But being all there, all set up, wires going everywhere, and
Yeah.
man, that was a shit.
Yeah, yeah.
I like that vibe.
Yeah, I never actually got to take part in any LAN parties, but just even just get couch co-op is just so good.
A split screen, man.
Split.
Bring that back.
I know split screen Halo on a TV that was about, I don't know, 12 inches or something.
Yeah.
One of those tiny little ones with a massive back and a tiny fucking screen. Really bad resolution, and I'm just playing Halo 2 and just thinking it's the best thing ever. And now look at what we're doing to games, man. It's fucking absolutely astonishing.
Yeah.
We're coming up for 3 hours, man. I'm thinking of possibly wrapping this up in a little moment. The time is slightly flowing by, man. It's been mad.
3 years.
3 hours. We're just coming up for 3 hours, mate.
Does it feel like it?
I know it doesn't feel like it. Every time I do this, I think this is episode 5 of the Roach War, and now every time I do this, I'm always amazed at how long it actually goes for. But yeah, so just to end up, what can we expect from Head of the Traitor in the next? I mean, like, we're on November 2023, 2024. Like, anything? What can we expect? I mean, I know it's easier that, like, you were talking about material that, like, needs to be released and stuff, but, like, other plans? What have we got to look forward to?
Well, like I says, man, there's a couple of songs there that are in the bracket to be basically finished, right? So definitely, I'd say definitely more releases,
right,
for 2024.
Yeah,
and maybe less shows at home to focus on that. 'Cause I think we need to pull the finger out, right? And make our presence known a wee bit more, because we've been quiet. We've been active in Glasgow, but quiet to the world.
very true.
Which is,
yeah.
So I'll definitely say that. I do have a wee sneaky side project on the go.
Yes, you do.
It's shaping up to be pretty fucking tasty. Everybody, all the guys are good guys. I think everybody's in the same mindset. Some of the stuff that's coming out is definitely top tier, so I reckon that's going to be big in 2024 too. I think that'll be I don't know, a wee special surprise.
Fucking A, man. Fucking A. Can't wait to hear it. Yeah, the whole social media thing's just about consistency, eh? Like, that's the name of the game now. The two bands that I think are doing the absolute best at just promoting themselves and constantly being online. One, Dragon Corpse.
Yeah.
They're always online posting memes, and then there's also a deathcore band called Demon Fuck as well. They are.
I got one of their taps, man. I went to Florida and I asked one of them to drop. Can I buy a bit of merch and you can drop it off at my hotel? And he did.
Oh, you saw Demon Fuck in America?
No, I didn't see them.
Right.
I was actually out in one of the parks, and the day he was coming to drop it off, so he came to my hotel and dropped it off at my hotel for me, and I got it when I picked it up. But
holy shit!
It was pretty decent.
Yeah,
I know them. They're pretty decent. I like that band.
Yeah, they're really good. Yeah, it's just yeah, they're always just filming wee daft videos of themselves and then just putting them up online, and that seems to be that seems to be the name of the game these days. For better or for worse, like, I'm kind of on the fence with social media. Like, it's done a lot of good, but I think it's also reduced everyone's attention span to like a minute long.
Yeah.
As well, with the invention of like threads and shorts and all that type of stuff. Like, people just see. See, like actually being a content creator myself, so I try not to look at the statistics for like, because you get like average length of like your videos viewed and all that type of stuff, and even if I just do like a little update video explaining why I haven't been, posting that much stuff or whatever, and it's like a 5-minute video, the average watch time is like 8 seconds.
Wow.
Like legitimately, and it's like, holy shit. People's attention spans, I don't know, maybe there's a lot more ADHD out there. Maybe it's, I don't know, maybe the culture.
You're right, but I
Like,
think the shorts and stuff like that has a lot to do with it, and no more so the older generation, but more the younger ones, because they're growing into that
yes,
or growing with that, which is quite concerning.
it's very it's pretty it's pretty concerning. Like what's your policy on your son with social media and just generally viewing stuff? Like, do you have like a set time limit? Are you monitoring him constantly? Like, is it more of a trust thing? Like, it's because I'm constantly thinking about that with my kids.
It was more it definitely was a trust thing
Yeah.
to begin with, but we just had a situation. I won't go too much into detail, right? Because
Okay.
I don't want to. I won't. More for him. I don't want to embarrass him, right? Because he's probably mortified I've done something like this anyway. But you know how it is.
I think I can imagine the situation that you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. So, there was a situation recently, and because I guess that element of trust was broke.
Yeah.
Somewhat.
Yeah.
We took steps. But I think we've got that trust back, but we're
Yeah.
still going to keep the steps. Because I guess you could say we were, depending on what way you look at it, the trust was there, but people might see it as, oh, you were just being a wee bit, what's the word, ignorant, and
Yeah.
maybe not.
Irresponsible.
That's the word, aye.
Yeah.
But it genuinely wasn't the case. We talked to him briefly about things, and he seemed to like understand, or seemed to kid on to us that he was understanding.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
obviously did. So we've just had to just step it up a wee bit, and we've done that, and we're quite happy where we are.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
feel we grew up in a, definitely me and you, we grew up in a good age. We got to experience growing up without this shit,
Yeah.
and it kind of grew with it.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas our kids are growing up deep into it,
Yeah.
and it's quite daunting, and I don't think our parents really. It's actually kind of scary when I think back to like our parents, right? Because I
Mm-hmm.
can only imagine your parents were a bit like mine. They weren't so computer savvy
Yeah.
when it was coming, and
Mm-hmm.
so you could get away with murder,
Yeah.
and they didn't know what you were doing on the internet or who was talking to you, right?
They had no idea.
So I've got to say, it definitely has gone in the right direction, but I think there's got to be an element of their privacy to an extent as well.
Yes.
Which is
Absolutely.
how do you? And it's hard to draw that line, right?
Yeah.
Because you're doing it for the first time, you and your partner. So
Yep.
it's definitely a roller coaster, but I think we're coming out the good end of it.
Yeah, yeah, it's tough. The line constantly shifts as
Yeah.
well. I think like you never really feel like you've got the perfect answer with that, because on the one hand with social media, it is good for actually just keeping in contact with people that you might like. There's a lot of people that I speak to online that I wouldn't necessarily call and gab to on the phone for hours.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I'd write them like a letter, but I probably would send them a wee message every now and then on Messenger. You know what I mean? Like it's good for that. But then there's also the very dark side of it as well, because there's a lot of fucked up shit on the internet
Well, what
as
I
well.
was saying to him is, if you, because I definitely grew up playing Xbox Live, right, and
Oh
meeting
God.
meeting people from England and America, and
Mhm.
literally talking to them for years, and they people became like real friends. And it's not
Yeah.
to say that you can't go on the internet and do that. You just need to be wary So,
Yeah.
I'm saying stuff to him like, maybe don't add somebody in your Discord if you have not heard their genuine voice in a call.
Yes.
So, if you've been in a party with them and you've heard their voice and you know that's a kid, then by all means make a pal.
Yeah.
But how deep does that shit go? How far are these people willing to, that voice technology that it can
Oh
disguise your
God.
voice and that? Like, how far do you go with it?
Fucking hell, man! It's really scary. Where the technology is now, like adults could get scammed because that type of voice changing, even face changing technology. If
Yeah.
it's not here now, it's give it another couple of years, and
Oh, easy.
you'll be getting you. My mum could have a fucking video call with me, and it's not me.
Aye,
It
easy.
just looks like me. That's not difficult. That's not difficult technology at all. Yeah, fucking, jeez, tough raising kids, man. Tough raising kids and
Aye.
kids in this age. I imagine. I try and think what high school would have been like for us with Facebook and Instagram.
I don't even want to know, man.
Fucking terrifying to consider, eh? Like,
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, like. That surely must just amplify the possibility of really bad bullying.
Oh no, for sure. I think it's quite apparent doing this way. I know there's like groups in that where it's like Waynes who seek fights to record fights and they post
Oh
them in these
God.
groups, and it's like dedicated groups for this, and it's not just on social. It's like I think it goes as far as Reddit and forums and stuff like that. And
Jesus.
yeah, maybe I think I'm thankful for growing up in the kind of dinosaur environment that I got to be a kid, right? I
Same.
got to be a kid playing.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
I
I
feel
know.
like that's missing a wee bit for your kids, which is a shame
It is.
in some directions when you look at it. But you can see, why technology is a great thing, but it's yin and yang in it. Yeah,
It is. It is. It's just either through bad parenting or just ignorance. The amount of kids that are being given unrestricted, unmonitored access to the internet, it fucking terrifies me.
yeah,
Like really terrifies me because it only takes one video to just and that'll just be you scarred basically, like the stories I hear online of the videos that people saw when they were like 12 years old and stuff like that. I'm like, oh God, seriously, that was a video that you stumbled across on the internet,
yeah.
like, oh my God, like, no wonder you're in fucking therapy if you saw like a
Uh,
Mexican
you're,
cartel video or an ISIS video when you were like 8. It's like, oh,
yeah, I
what the
know.
fuck.
I
Jeez.
remember when they started suckling when I was younger, and I seen my first one. I think it was some sort of ISIS video, and I was just like, "That's not for me, man. You just
No.
maybe keep that to yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Call it
know.
blissful ignorance. I don't care what you want to call it, but you just keep that to yourself, man. I don't need that."
You don't gain anything from watching those types of videos. Like
Yeah,
you don't need any extra reason to be afraid of ISIS and the Mexican cartel. You don't need video proof. You know what I mean? It's like the fairly bad groups you want to stay away from anyway. But yeah, just those stories I heard online, man. Just guys my age that see all this fucking extreme content, and and it's not even bad parenting. It's not like they knew and they just didn't give a shit. A lot of the time, it was just people that weren't particularly tech savvy. So when they give their
yeah,
kid a phone, they don't really understand the implications of that.
no. And
Like,
some of the stuff I've been looking into, um, recently, and like you see, like a lot of basic platforms have like stuff like Discord has family center, right?
yeah,
Um, and small things like that can make such a big difference to what they're viewing. We use this thing called Kids Lock. It's like
mm-hmm,
LOX,
mm-hmm,
and it's really, really, really good. It can show like it's like £50 a year,
mm-hmm,
but it shows like the people like Rory's talking to, but it won't show us what he's talking to, what they're talking about, right?
Right.
That's between him and them.
Yeah.
But we know, like, talking sake, this is, I don't know, Daniel talk.
Mhm.
So we know when we say that username, that's Daniel.
Yeah.
And that's fine. We don't need to. But again, like I said earlier on, you need that line of them having their own private space. And when do you stop that line? Like, do you stop it when they're 18? Do you stop it when they're 70? Like, it's hard, man.
It's hard, and I don't think there's an actual answer for it. I think you just approximate the correct
Yeah, with
view.
it being unreasonable or being like a dictator.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because everyone's fundamentally got that right to privacy. But if that right to privacy means that your daughter gets groomed by some creep online, suddenly you don't really care too much about the privacy anymore.
Yeah.
And now it's like North Korea in here, you know, like no fucking screens at all. You know, it's different. It's raising kids is obviously challenging. But now with social media, with the technology, it's just there's so much shit to worry about. But I think it sounds like you're doing a good job, man. So
Oh, thanks. I'm trying my best.
yeah, that's all you can do, mate. That's all you can do. Right, dude. I'm gonna wrap it up. Thank you so much for taking the time to do this, man. Honestly, like I know you're a busy man, but I'm glad we got to do this, man. Thank you for taking the time, because obviously I need 2 people to do an episode of the Roach Warren. So yeah, cheers, man. Appreciate it. It's been a pleasure.
Oh, your cat's there.
Yeah, I just jumped in. Hello. Just jumped in. She had to photobomb me right at the very last, like just as I'm closing up shop. But yeah, it was a pleasure, man. And yeah, we'll need to. I always say this whenever I speak to, whenever I'm at one of these, one of your gigs. I'm always like, we'll do this, we'll meet up and shit. But then I'm kind of just always either just doing this or just spending time with the family. But we should try and get to a gig sometime, man, or something. Like,
Oh, definitely. Or even go for something to eat. Me and George do that every so often. So if it means like going to, Edinburgh, if it's easier for you to get there, then me and George, I'm sure George won't mind travelling either.
That sounds good, man. That sounds good. Yeah, it's not the actual travelling. It's just finding the time to get the travelling done.
Oh, that's
That's it. Getting a train and a bus is easy enough, eh? Like, no issues there. But yeah, we'll try and get something done. So yeah, right. Let me do the official closer to all of the possible alien civilizations and hopefully millions of people that will one day see this podcast. Thank you very much for sticking with us for 3 hours and 16 minutes. It's been an absolute pleasure. I promise everyone watching this, it will not be another 7 months until I do another episode of the Roach Warren. Next up, we've got Luke from Unhallowed Void. I've got a bunch of other people. Yes, I know, right? He's very excited. Got another bunch of people. I'll keep that close to my chest. But lots of other people lined up. It's going to be really good. Sorry it's been so long. And yeah, thank you very much. This is Relentless Doppelganger signing off. Take it easy. I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.